one. Hello.
Hello.
We don't have very many people here yet. What? Oh, there's an ad in progress also. Okay. Well, I guess we have a bit of time. Let's pop this out. Great. See. I don't know when we should start. Maybe now?
No.
Sure, why not? Okay. Welcome back, everyone who's here right now, which I don't think is very many people, but that's fine. To set review. We did all the comments. Hi, Ashley.
Hey, Ashley.
We did all the comments this morning, or this afternoon, I guess. Then we took a 2-hour break, and now we're back with the uncommons. Not to be confused with the store in New York. So yeah, as with before, we're going to be doing we're just going to be going through all of the uncommons in ordered by color and then mana cost, and just talking about them, talking about what our first impressions of the cards are, how we feel the cards will play, and since this time I'm not constrained by someone who loves grades like as much as Julian does, we're going to give grades to cards in the form of 2-word vibes. For example, like some examples of 2-word vibes include like defensive speed or specialized value or dumb beater. If you would like to see the grades that we've been assigning, you can find it at !grades. So that's the gist. Yeah, let's continue.
Yeah, sounds great.
Okay, so starting off, so I believe there's like 15-ish uncommons of each color, maybe 16. I don't know. Anyways, optimistic scavenger. So this is white for a 1/1 human scout. It has Eerie, which, to remind everyone, is basically landfall but for enchantments. It also triggers when you fully unlock a room. Eerie put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. So every enchantment comes with an extra +1/+1 counter. This effect is strong.
Yeah, this looks really good to me.
This isn't like once per turn locked or anything.
It is not. Like this looks, for the obvious comparison, this seems, as I recall, Generous Visitor was pretty good in Kamigawa Draft. Was it?
Yeah, I believe it was.
Yeah, and this...
That was the cast trigger on enchantments. And yeah. I think there's more enchantments this set.
Yes, there's more enchantments, and also this is not locked to enchantment cast triggers. One of the first things I was thinking of looking at this card also is that, like, when I say there are cards that make me start to like the White Room, this is one. This is one of them. Like, curving this into the White Room for 2+1/+1 counters does actually seem quite strong.
So this on 1, the White Room on 2, suddenly you have 4 power on board in some distribution.
Yep.
And then, well, I mean, like, that's not necessarily above rate at that point, right? Like, you could play a 2/1 and then a 2/2 or something.
Yeah, of course.
But like, yeah, it is still very nice.
Yes. Yep.
What is your vibe?
I mean, this one is honestly just like broadly good. I think this one just seems like, I don't know.
Broadly good.
Broadly good, yeah.
what do I think about this one? I think this is like. What was the previous one called that like gave that made 1/1s? The blue-white signpost is called Gremlin Tamer. I'm gonna say worse than Tamer.
Okay, I do agree that this is worse than Tamer, but like
but like very similar.
yes.
I think like slightly worse than Tamer. But very similar. Sounds like a B to you, Ashley. Well, it's unfortunate that we don't care about letters in this set review stream. We only care about 2 words, 2 English words, which may or may not include things like 1 plus 0.5 plus 0.5 for 1. That's 2 words.
I strongly agree that is 2 words.
Yeah. This is like we mentioned. This is like Generous Visitor, but I think it will be better in the set.
Oh yeah, this seems meaningfully better than Generous Visitor.
Yeah, like the thing is that like every room is like 2. Right? Like some of the thing, like when you're trying to build around a card like this, your question is like, what density of enchantments can you get? And with a card like with Eerie, the thing is that rooms are like double the density of normal enchantments. You know?
Yes.
Anyways, next card.
Veteran Survivor, or white for a 2/1 creature human survivor. Survival. At the beginning of your second main phase, if Veteran Survivor is tapped, exile up to 1 target card from a graveyard. As long as there are 3 or more cards exiled with Veteran Survivor, it gets +3/+3 and has Hexproof.
So
this
card keeps your opponent sane by making them not delirious.
This is true.
And the problem is that it's a 2/1.
Yes.
It's a 2/1 and like okay, obviously 1 mana 2/1 is like okay. That's like okay stats baseline, right?
Yes.
And the fact that it's 1 mana makes it nice because like you can pretty easy like you should be somewhat able to trigger like survival on turn 2. But on the other hand, it also like isn't that good at doing anything with survival on turn 2. Right? Like your opponent's
yes.
Like it needs to have cards in the graveyard to like get anywhere, right?
Yeah, that is true. I mean, it's
like this card's weird because like it reads like, oh, after you trigger survival 3 times, it gets really cool. But 3 is a lot of times, and it's also more than 3 times because sometimes you won't have a card in the graveyard to exile.
Yes. It weirdly works uniquely well with tricks in certain ways, I guess, because tricks will also put cards in the graveyard.
Yeah.
Like,
but like, are you using 3 tricks on pushing this through?
No,
that's so many tricks.
No, of course not. Like, I mean, I'm like, if I'm able to eat 3 creatures with 3 tricks with it, I will. But like, I am not going to approach the game with that mentality.
Yeah. Oh, there's a really funny thing you can do with this, which is, or like the survival in general, which is if you have a manifested survivor, you know, from like manifesting dread, you just have a face down survivor, and you attack with your 2/2, and your opponent's like, I have no like with a bunch of mana open, your opponent's like, oh, I have no idea what that is. I'm not going to block. You can like flip it face up post combat to get the survivor trigger.
That is true.
It's really funny.
I think I have to assume that I have to assume that this is still baseline pretty playable. I also feel like there are likely I feel like there are degrees to which you can find scaling with this, especially if you have non-combat ways to tap it.
Maybe my take and my vibe for this card is that this is mostly just Savannah Alliance. And so I'm just going to call it Savannah Alliance, which I'm not that excited for.
Like, I don't know. I think this one is like somewhat. I want to call this like somewhat good. I think this is meaningfully. I do actually think it's meaningfully better than Savannah Lions.
Okay, so if your Savannah Lions has attacked 3 times in the mid game and survived,
No, of course.
that's already a good case for Savannah Lions. That almost never happens. You're the boat it's just not that hard for your opponent to interact with.
Oh no,
There's also lots of X1 hate, or not lots of, but a decent amount of X1 hate.
that is true. Actually, that is valid. I did not consider the X1 hate. That's fair.
I think this is just Savannah Lions.
Yeah, I'm still willing to say it's somewhat good. I'm optimistic for this card.
Vibe?
Yeah, somewhat good.
Somewhat good. Attack. Well, the thing is, it doesn't. What do you think your opponent's doing that this is gonna mess up their delirium? Do you think they're not playing creatures? I guess if you eat their creature in combat with a trick, and then you can eat their creature post combat from their graveyard or something. But
I think
it's still that's not that much upside. What if your opponent's just not playing delirium? What if they have many different ways of enabling delirium?
I mean, I do think specifically one of the arguments is that we've seen a number of tools to enable 2-power creatures to attack in the mid game, but I don't know. Part of it is,
I don't know.
I want to be optimistic for this card. I can understand the degree of fail case it has, but I also feel like there are enough specific ways to get benefits from it that I want to be optimistic.
Yeah, I just feel like the benefits come from cases where you're already doing well, so I don't care as much about it.
That is fair.
Specifically, especially because I think that my worry with the survival mechanic is that there are times when you're behind,
Yes.
and it doesn't play well when you're behind, and this is an example of that.
That's true, but I also think part of it is also that I do think playing a 2-1 on playing a Savannah Lions helps you be ahead.
Yeah, but that's why I said Savannah Lions. It's
That's
Savannah
valid.
Lions.
This is valid.
Next up, reprint Ethereal Armor. White for an aura, enchant creature, and it gets +1/+1 for each enchantment you control and has first strike. Well, this is a very powerful aura, right? We can probably expect this to give +2 or +3. It counts itself, and obviously it also gets first strike. Just a pain to deal with in combat, but it dies to removal. I don't know.
We have seen enough good removal in this set and few enough creatures that are not vulnerable to it, I think, that I am a bit sketch on leaning too hard into Ethereal Armor as a strategy, but I also think it has enough support to work in a bunch of ways.
Yeah, I think this can definitely be powerful. I think one vibe I could give it is dies to removal, but I feel that's a bit too obvious, not saying that much. I kind of want to give it risky but cheeky. I don't know if I would want to build a deck that relies on this, but if you're in this, you can build a deck that relies on this, and that's a good thing to keep in mind, basically.
Yeah, I think the vibe I want to give this is don't overinvest, from the perspective that I can definitely see a bunch of ways to find good value out of just putting this into a deck with some enchantments in the set, but I think that trying to maximize it is likely a mistake.
What is wrong with my drop frames? Maybe it's some internet issue. Hopefully things are not too bad stream-wise, but it's not this is particularly intensive of a stream. The video doesn't matter that much. But yeah.
Shard Mage's Rescue. White. Flash. Enchantment aura. Flash. Enchant creature you control. As long as Shard Mage's Rescue who entered this turn, enchanted creature has hexproof. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1.
Wow. They printed what's it called? Starlit Mantle at one less mana.
They did.
Very good.
Yep.
I don't know. This card's really good. Well, this is Snakeskin Veil.
Yes. I mean, card looks good. It looks pretty good to me.
It triggers Yuri.
Yep. Like, I am fairly, and as I've mentioned, I'm fairly interested in any instant speed way to trigger Eerie. I think that I don't know, I like this card. I think that it's Snakeskin Veil, but with more synergy, which is a good place to be.
I'm going to give this a vibe of Synergy Skin Veil.
Yeah,
Synergy Skin is definitely a word.
I want to give this the vibe of Snakeskin Veil Plus.
Snakeskin Veil Plus. Okay, Unwanted Remake. White instant destroy target creature. Its opponent manifest thread would be so good. Anyways, its controller manifest thread. I don't like this card.
I like the art.
I mean, I do like the art. But I don't know. Usually I don't want to give my opponent a 2/2 when I kill their creature. Those cards are generally not very good in limited.
Manifesting Dread seems like a fairly substantial thing to give your opponent here. I do not want to play this card.
Hey, it's Steel and Sack Outlet in red-white.
That is true.
Yeah. I don't think there's anything that you want to proactively kill your own thing to manifest dread. So I think I'm gonna say don't play. Actually, I'm gonna say desperation play. If your opponent has a bomb you can't beat. I haven't looked up the rares. Vibe?
I just want to say don't play. I am not interested. I don't know. I am not interested in splitting hairs on that.
That's fair.
Orphans of the Wheat. 1 and a white for a 2/1 creature human. Whenever Orphans of the Wheat attacks, tap any number of untapped creatures you control. Orphans of the Wheat gets +1/+1 until end of turn for each creature tapped this way.
Well, the joke is survival.
Yes.
And you can tap anything, you can tap something that you played immediately, right?
Yes.
But it's just kind of expensive to use, right? If you have creatures that can themselves attack, it's kind of a big cost to tap them to this, right?
Yeah, but also if we just assume that you were playing a creature and tapping the creature you play each turn, it's still attacking as a 3/2.
It's attacking as a 3/2 that says you can never block with anything.
That is true.
Right, and that is a downside. Also, how good is a 2-mana 3/2? I don't know. It's okay. It still gets traded with. I just don't think this card is that good. I think this card is terrible on defense.
Oh yeah, obviously this card is deeply unplayable on defense.
Yeah.
I think it is a tool. I genuinely do think it is a tool that a survival deck could benefit from, but I think outside of that,
I would rather I think the survival creatures that we've seen are all not that bad at attacking. I would rather just play ways that let those creatures attack than play this.
Again, broadly I agree, but a lot of the goal here is just the ability to give your. I think a lot of the benefit is just 3 power for 2 mana, along with the ability to give your survival effects haste. In that context,
I don't know. One thing you can do with this is the 2 power unblockable thingy. You can make this unblockable and then attack with it and tap everything.
Yep.
To get in the huge big unblockable hit. But I don't know. I think this is just kind of bad. My vibe for this is just attack.
Yeah, my vibe My vibe is very niche.
Okay. Split Skin Doll. 1 in the white for a 2/1 artifact creature toy. ETB, draw a card, then discard a card unless you control another creature with power 2 or less. This card is very good.
Yes.
2 mana, 2/1, draw a card. It
Yep.
shouldn't be too hard to control another creature that of power 2 and less. And like,
Yeah.
if you don't, it's still fine. Like, a looter is like not that bad.
I strongly agree. I feel like this is the better version of a white card that enables delirium.
What was the other white card that enables delirium?
Oh, that was the joke I made about the when it artifact creature when it dies.
Oh, right, the living phone.
Yeah, the living phone.
Yeah, this card is much better at enabling delirium. This is a good reason to play Savannah Lions, indeed.
Yes.
Like, obviously, the 2 mana versus 3 mana on the cantrip being like 2 power creature is not going to be as relevant if this is harder to draw a card on turn 2 because unless you have a 1-drop, right? But it's still really extremely relevant for double spelling, which is really nice.
Yes.
So, I don't know. I don't know, just extremely good. Very good. I don't know.
I don't know. I just want to say low investment because I just want to say this is low investment. I don't think this is a card you need to invest that much energy into to make good.
Yeah, it's just good.
It's just good. Exercise. Is 1 and a white for a sorcery. Exile target artifact, enchantment, or creature with power 4 or greater.
Do you think you can not exile artifacts with power 3 or less? that's what this reads, right? Clearly. No, that's not what that reads. But so the question is like, how much are these the things you care about?
So like most of the please correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like most of the creatures we've seen have been sub 4 power, and most of the artifact and enchantment creatures have been like largely utility creatures.
We've seen a lot of like small non-artifact, non-enchantment creatures in like red white, for example.
Yeah. Yes. I'm just trying to get a sense of what it is because it feels like this is exile. It feels like this ultimately is likely to just be exile room, exile like a utility or / value creature, or exile a bomb.
I think this card is like tentatively sideboard. As in like tentatively, I think you only use this out of your sideboard.
I want to start. This is a card that I want to start in my main deck at the beginning of the format until I am convinced that it is a sideboard card.
Would you like to say tentatively main deck then?
Yes, I would like to say tentatively.
I see we are in disagreement, but that's fine.
Yep.
I don't know. I just don't get the vibe that like this is what matters. I feel like this like isn't exactly what matters.
I think it is very limited in what it can exile, but I think the things it can exile are often the things you want to exile.
Maybe. I'm like not as convinced. I feel like I could like conjure up several cards in my mind that like I would want to exile with this that this can't hit. Yeah. Sheltered by Ghosts. 1 in a white enchantment aura. Enchant creature you control. When it enters, exile target non-land permanent and opponent controls until it leaves the battlefield. And your creature gets +1/+1 and then has lifelink and ward 2. So this is a very temporary. So it just goes on the creature and it like gets rid of opponent's creature, and then you get +1/+1 lifelink and like protection for your creature a bit. But if your creature dies, everything falls apart. They get back their creature. It's a very swingy card.
It is. I think it is made a lot less swingy for the fact that your creature gets ward 2.
Well, kind of. But, like, the thing is, giving your creature ward 2 is nice for, like, them not being able to kill it. But, like, when it's such a big swing when they do kill it, the fact that they've spent 2 extra mana on killing it isn't as impactful, you know?
That is fair. That is fair. That said, have we seen have we had an aura that, have we had an aura with the Banisher Priest effect since the one from Shadows over Innistrad?
I have no idea. No, I have not seen one.
Yeah, the last time I remember that was Shadows over Innistrad, where the card was excellent, but it also gave +2/+2, which is a more relevant thing to do.
Yeah, +2, like, the thing that this doesn't give any toughness, like, if you just put this on a small creature, like, imagine if you put this on a creature and then it just gets Scorching Dragonfire for 4 mana. That's not great.
Yeah, I do. Oh no, I definitely agree there. I think...
And, like, the lifelink, the fact that it doesn't give any power and toughness means it still trades the same in combat.
Yes.
Thank you, but I don't know. I don't like this card. I think
it is.
I think this is too risky. That is my vibe.
I disagree. I don't think risky is necessarily how I would put it, but I want...
Like, basically, I think the fact that it doesn't give +2/+2 is just, like, makes it so much worse than the other card. Like, and the fact that it doesn't actually push you towards the winning the game. Like, the thing is, you need this to end the game.
Yes.
Right? You need to... I think the lifelink on this looks really appealing, but, like, you actually really need this to end the game.
I think my 2-word vibe is bad at swings, because I actually think that, like, if you're not looking to use it to swing the game, it is kind of decent, but I think it is not a card that will swing the game
Mm-hmm. Like the more time you give your opponent to deal with it, like the worse it gets. Like the worse it gets, right? Because, like,
of course,
Ward 2 will run out of usefulness at some point, and I just think that, like, the lifelink, obviously lifelink is nice, but it's not going to, like, it's not going to increase your clock, right?
Yeah, of course.
So yeah, I don't like it.
Yeah.
Sorry, very janky setup.
All right. A surgical suite / hospital room. We have a room. Surgical suite is 1 into white. When you unlock this door, return target creature card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. And hospital room is 3 into white. Whenever you attack, put a +1/+1 counter on target attacking creature. I feel like this is a card that you are very likely to be burned by when you play it, barring some very specific situations.
Really? Okay, I have the opposite opinion. I think that this is a card that fixes the problem with the first half. So the first half of the card is the one that we see more often, which is whenever you like get back a small creature, right? Like 2 mana, get back a small creature. And the problem with that card is sometimes you have no targets, right? Sometimes there's no creatures in your graveyard because it is a powerful effect, right? You are literally going up in mana if you get, going up usually even sometimes sometimes up in mana, right?
Yes.
Which overall is good, but if you have the fail case of I don't have any creatures in my graveyard, well, usually in the types of deck you would want to play this in, you at least have a lot of creatures in your deck. The problem is just none of them have died, right? But if none of them have died, then the Luminarch Aspirant effect is really good.
So, I think my concern about this card is that the dynamic as you've I think both sides of the dynamic as you've described it assume that you have not fallen meaningfully behind. I
think the left side is fine when you're behind, because when you're behind, you want to, like, trade off creatures off him, and then you get back a blocker.
That is fair. I mean, this is true. My concern is about the situation where you are behind, and the only targets you in your graveyard are low impact, which I think is a bit more common than, which I am worried because I feel like that is a somewhat common scenario you can end up in.
This is bad when your opponent is going over the top of you.
Yes.
I mean, I can see that. I just think that the overall package is really powerful. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like the left side of the card is actually just like an on-rate card is the big thing, right?
Yes.
And the right side is like not that far.
I agree that it's not that far. I just find that the right side is a slightly below rate card with a fail case that I am less convinced is fixed by the left side.
Okay. Consider the following card. Have you ever played with did you ever play Strixhaven and get clobbered by what's it called? Training something? No. Sparring regimen.
I have not.
This is the learn enchantment, the 3-mana enchantment that says learn when it enters, and when you attack, it's a hospital room, except you also get to untap the creature.
Yes.
So, obviously some differences. This costs 3 mana, not 4. It untaps the creature, which is huge because it means you can't be, it's really hard to race you. But this card was really good. This was like one of the best rares in the set. Kind of really good. Right?
Yeah, of course. No, of course. I do.
And this is not that far. You're like, when you play a hospital room, it's 1 more mana, and you don't get the untap thing, but like, that part of it is like really busted, obviously. But like, you still get like there's still room below that to still be good. And I think that the hospital room falls into that because like, similarly, like you're learning with Sparring Regimen, you're drawing a card here, but the card has to be a recommission, you know?
Yes. I agree with this. I agree with what you're saying. I think that this is an effect where I have general concerns about the impact of increasing mana. Like, I think this is an effect that uniquely suffers for increases to its mana cost. I think Ust in ways that make me a bit concerned. And I also, yeah.
Do you want a hot take?
Yep.
Mythic uncommon. That's my call. I think this card is really good.
Yeah. I mean, I just want to say strong on offense. I don't know. I think the card does a lot. I maintain my anxieties with it.
That's fair. It's definitely a card that like could possibly be really awkward. The other thing I do like with it about it is it enables survival, like this survival 3-drop, which is 2 and a white for a 3/3 human survivor. If it does the survival thing, you either make a glimmer if you don't control a glimmer, or you draw a card if you do control a glimmer. So generally, like, the first time this triggers, you'll make a 1/1, and then after that, every time you're drawing a card. Though, like, obviously, you can continually, like, trade off the 1/1 or chump with the 1/1, and then, like, continually put out 1/1s if you would rather that. And there are other things that make glimmers, too. So, like, maybe the first time this attacks, you'll draw a card. The card is really good.
Oh, yeah, I think this is great. I'm not sure how much there is to say about it necessarily. It is just really high rate.
Mm-hmm. I will say, like, you do need to, like, push it through, right? Like,
yes,
it is high rate, but, like, only if it, like, ever gets a trigger. And, like, it's possible for it to never get a trigger, right?
This is true.
Like, but this is, I'm going to say, best survivor. This feels like the most impactful survivor we've seen.
I agree. I think that is probably the best way to phrase what I'm thinking about it. So I'm just going to copy you. I've been trying to think of words for it, and I think that's where I'm at.
Makes sense.
Patched Plaything. 2 and a white for a 4/3 artifact creature toy with double strike. It enters with 2 -1/-1 counters on it if you cast it from your hand.
Yeah, so if you cast it from your hand, this is a 3 mana 2/1 double strike. not anything special. In fact, like slightly below rate, maybe. It's not below rate necessarily. It's just like not like mediocre.
I feel like standard rate for that is a 3-mana 2/2 with double strike.
At uncommon, I mean.
Yeah, at uncommon is my instinct.
Dying the X1 hate is rough, but the ways you get this without double strike are like reanimating from your graveyard, like for example the room we saw, or like I know there's at least one. There's a few ways to impulse draw, but that's pretty hard to set up. I don't know if there's any way to blink reasonably. If your opponent removes this with an O-ring and then you kill the O-ring, that's a pretty amusing way to get it back. I don't know. Seems okay.
I feel like this is a card you put in your deck after you have a few ways to make it excellent, because it's like not super below rate. It's not exceptionally below rate. Like it's at a playable rate even with the Took.
Mm-hmm.
Normally.
I think I would say small build around.
Yes.
Oh, Manifest Dread target, right? But that's also somewhat hard to hit. Like and like white doesn't have that much Manifest Dread.
Yeah, I agree with this.
So yeah, I'm gonna say small build around. Like you need a bit to make it good, but I don't think you need that much. You?
Yeah, I think I am on. I think I am just on like how am I? I'm trying to figure out how to phrase this in a way that covers it, because it is essentially small build around. It's just like
we can say the same thing.
Yeah, that's fair, but I feel like I have more specific ways to say it. I think my thoughts basically amount. I think I want to just say like. I think I want to say like low buy-in.
That's good.
Like it's I think I want to say low buy-in. Like yeah.
Savior of the Small. 3 and a white for a 3/4 survivor. When it does the survivor things, you return target creature card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to your hand. So that kind of also draws a card when you do the survivor thing. But I think 4 mana 3/4 is an awkward survivor stat.
I agree. I think it's a bit too small to attack in the ways you really want it to without help, and also has a fail case on its survival ability.
I want to say like a bit clunky.
Yes.
Your vibe?
I think awkward but reasonable.
Next up.
Lionheart Glimmer. 3 white for a 2/5 enchantment creature, Cat Glimmer, with Ward 2, and whenever you attack, creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn.
Notably, whenever you attack, not whenever this attacks.
Yes.
So, it has, like, the ability's hasty. That's really good, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, we have found an anthem. Like, I feel like we have been running through a variety of things, a variety of white adjacent things that, like...
I don't think there's that much go white, though. Like, I mean, there's the red white stuff, but, like, nothing that, like, makes that many tokens. In fact, I think the main token maker we saw... I guess there's the white for 2 2/2s, but there's, like, blue for a 2/2 and a 1/1, but, like, I think mostly this card is just, like... a solid card.
Oh yeah, I don't mean in the go wide sense. I mean that like we have enough like we have a lot of like token makers with specialized functionality, and also like survivors that benefit from pumps broadly, that I like the access to a consistent pump more than treating it as like a team pump to win with small creatures.
Mm-hmm. I am going to give this perhaps a slightly deep cut, and call it Furry Allen.
I just want to say value pumps.
As opposed to like winning the game.
Yes.
Pumps.
That is where I'm at with this.
Fear of Abduction. This is 4 white white for a 5/5 enchantment creature nightmare. It has flying, and as additional cost to cast the spell, you have to exile a creature you control, and when it enters, exile target creature an opponent controls. But when it leaves, put each exiled card with it into its owner's hand. This weird one.
This is weird. This seems very good to me.
So you kind of like Bone Splinters, but like as a like Mana War kind of also?
Yes, it's like it is half run away together, half bone. It is like delayed run away together on a Banisher Priest that's also a 5/5 with flying.
Yeah, but like it has the fail case of if you control no creatures, it's not very good at cat. Like my worry with this one is that it costs 6 mana. It needs you to have a creature. It kind of needs the opponent to have a creature as well for it to be like particularly good.
I'm not actually, depending on the creature you're exiling it with, I'm not actually convinced you need the opponent to have a creature.
That's fair. Like picking up your like 2 mana 2/1 that draws a card would be nice, but
like I am assuming that. Like, to be clear, I am in large part assuming that in the context of this card, like in the situations where you want to put this card in your deck, the additional cost beyond the requirement to have a creature at all is going to be like at least some degree of value.
yeah. One thing to note about this is a decent. This can be a decent reanimation target because then you don't need to pay the cost. Well. At that point, it's like a really big, really nice Enhancer Priest.
Like, yeah. I think it's, a lot of it for me is just like, I think if you have a creature at all, playing this is likely to stabilize you pretty well. Yeah. On 6, which is something I appreciate.
Yeah.
And it matters that, like, if they kill it, you are likely to be able to if they kill it, depending on how mana is working and what you've exiled, there's a good chance you're able to replay the thing you exiled before they are able to replay the thing they exiled.
Yeah. This is a weird one. What's your vibe?
My vibe is, I think broadly my vibe is like, I just think, I'm just going to put control finisher here. I think this is a good control finisher. It is, this does everything. I think this card ultimately does everything I want out of a control finisher.
I think, mostly I just think this card is really weird. I'm going to say decline to comment. Is my vibe. Decline to comment until I like actually play with it. Okay, what do we think of white uncommons?
Well, they're a lot better than the commons.
I don't think the white commons were that bad, but I agree the uncommons are pretty good.
Yeah. I thought we were on the white commons being unexciting more than like specifically bad, but
yeah, like the white commons were like, I said good, not special.
Yeah.
I think overall white seems like okay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think white uncommons have a lot of cards that ask you. I do think the white uncommons have like a lot of cards that really ask you to do work for them. Like, not like heavy work, but like I feel like these are a lot of cards that ask you to do a little bit of work before you just put it in your deck.
I think my overall summary for white is like decent at combat. Like, not quite good at combat, but like decent at combat. Like I feel like white has a lot of good tools for attacking and blocking and things that reward you for attacking and blocking. But like, I don't know, I like green felt better at that, honestly. But you know.
Yeah, I think my vibe on white is asks for micro synergy.
Which can be a good or bad thing.
Yes, I agree that that can be a good or bad thing, and I will not be sure whether it is until actually playing.
Okay, blue.
Scrabbling Skull Crab. Blue for an 0/3 creature crab skeleton with Eerie. Whenever an enchantment you control enters, and whenever you fully unlock a room, target player mills 2 cards.
Yeah, I mean, this could be good. I don't know.
Like, I agree that it theoretically could be good. I just struggle to actually come up with the ways in which it would be.
I guess 03 is kind of rough in a survivor world.
Yeah. I don't like this as a blocker, and I don't like and I really don't like mill as a win condition, and I think that it's a lot of work as a delirium enabler.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking of, like, I was not meaning to conjure up thoughts of using this to enable delirium. There are better ways to do that. Like, I guess, like, 2 is a lot less than 3. Like, 2 is just not that many cards to mill.
Yeah. I'm also, like, kind of unconvinced that we're actually... I have a lot of skepticism about how many times we're expecting to trigger Eerie in a given game. Like, one of the problems is that, like, if you...
6.
You think 6 consistently?
Well, I don't know, I'm just putting a number out there, but I think 6 seems reasonable.
I think 6 seems reasonable and decks built around it.
And then, like, milling 12 was not enough. I don't know.
Yeah, like, that's kind of where I land with something like this, is I think that we have to trigger Eerie more times than we realistically are going to for it to be a card, to be what we're looking for.
Yeah, like, we don't have, like, a Shrieking Drake Eerie, right? Sorry, a Shrieking Drake that's an enchantment, right?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't know. What's your vibe?
Low impact.
Low impact. I'm gonna say doesn't block. I'd be much more in 04. One of these. Oh, I forgot to rotate it. Let's do that now.
I would also be much more interested in an 04, but a lot of that is just that, like, an 04 is really a more relevant body.
Yeah. So we have a room. This is a bottomless pool, which for a single blue mana lets you return up to 1 target creature to its owner's hand, so unsummon something. And on the other side, we have the locker room, which is 4 in a blue for whenever one or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, draw a card. Notably, this is 1 or more creatures, so if you hit with multiple things, you still only draw 1 card. Not a huge fan.
No?
No, like... Okay, so I don't really want to play the right side. Is the thing, right? Like, I don't want to, like,
of course not.
Generally, like, if I'm playing this card, right, like, playing 5 mana for the right side as, like, the first part of this is, like, really slow. Like, like, the left side is a nice tempo addition to that, but the problem is the right side is already so slow.
So, like, I mean, what I end up thinking... Okay, mostly what I'm ending up thinking about with this card is, does the red-blue tempo rooms deck that was hinted at previously exist?
Oh, you mean, like, you play the blue-red uncommon, and then you, like, just play this as unsummon, draw a card, deal you 2?
I mean, it is a little more complicated than that, but that is actually one of the one of my thoughts on how this card is... Or, like, I think this is a card that is, like, you can make a lot of use of it with that, and I think that if you're in the, like, red-blue tempo deck and you don't get those kinds of... If you're in that kind of tempo deck and you don't get those kinds of synergies, Locker Room is not the worst fail case possible.
Yeah, I think that... Okay, I think that, like, I could see Bottomless Pool as something that you may want, like, if you're, like, heavy in the, like, triggering Eerie is, like, literally giving me a card kind of thing. right? Or like having a room on the battlefield is literally giving me a card. So I could see that, I guess. It's just like locker room is so expensive. It doesn't do anything. Like I feel like in a heavy room synergy deck, I'm not even sure like you're hitting your opponent very often.
I think it depends on, like, I mean, my comment here is just, for what it's worth, my vibes on this are very discreetly room tempo question mark because it is the deck I am singularly most skeptical of. Yeah, it is a deck that keeps being hinted at that I am deeply skeptical of, and I think that if it is good, I could actually see a use for this in it, but I am skeptical of the actual functionality of this deck.
I'm gonna say heavy requirements. Like your deck needs to look a very certain way for this to make this card playable, I think. Next up.
Fear of Isolation. 1 into blue for a 2/3 enchantment creature nightmare. As an additional cost to cast this spell, return a permanent you control to its owner's hand. Flying.
I think this card seems really good.
It's core Skyfisher, but an enchantment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's really good.
I agree. Core Skyfisher, good. I will just call this core Skyfisher.
Notably, you like picking up rooms can be nice sometimes. Like some rooms you really want to pick up. Yeah. Okay, I will note that like you don't really want to pick up a land on turn 2 for this card.
Of course.
I'm gonna say not a 2-drop. But yeah. This just.
Can you add an exclamation mark for me on core Skyfisher?
I've added.
I am a core
9.
Skyfisher enjoyer.
Wow, very surprising.
I know, it's very off-brand.
Flood Pit's Drowner is 1 in the blue for a 2/1 Merfolk with Flash and Vigilance. And when it enters up to tap up to tap target creature an opponent controls and put a stun counter on it. And then you can pay 1 in the blue and shuffle this and target creature with a stun counter on it into their owner's libraries. So, the natural play pattern is on your opponent's end step. You flash this in, tap down one of their creatures. On your turn, get in for 2, and then shuffle both away.
Yes.
So, like, it's a weird removal spell. That could also just be a flash tempo threat.
Yes. I think that's a pretty good place to be.
Yeah. Like, you can stop their attack with this, too. It doesn't have to be on their end step.
Yep. Yeah, like, I like this a lot. I think it is good as a weird removal spell and good as a... I think it is good as a weird removal spell and good as a weird tempo threat.
What's your vibe?
Flexible good.
I think this card is just like amazing tempo. Like I think just like 2 mana for a body that like taps it, like a flash draw sling's just like remove ignoring the other stuff is just really good tempo.
Paranormal Analyst. 1 and a blue for a 1/3 creature, human detective. Whenever you manifest dread, put a card you put into your graveyard this way into your hand.
Yeah, so it's whenever you manifest dread, draw a card. Except like 2 of these don't do anything extra.
Okay, so I think the most important thing about this card is that if you have it out, your manifests no longer fuel delirium.
Oh yeah, this card is unplayable.
Clearly.
Yeah.
Clearly.
I think the most important thing about this card is that if you have it in play, it's a nombo with why can't I figure out what the other analyst is called? Why am I blanking? Aftermath Analyst. It's a nombo with Aftermath Analyst because it means that your Manifest Dread no longer puts lands in the graveyard.
This is true.
And instead draws them into your hand.
So this is a terrible card for Analyst Tribal.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
So unplayable. I mean, I don't know, the card's good.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out how it actually ends up playing out because it's a lot more. It is a lot more complex than you get like the worst of the two cards.
No, like,
But
like you get the choice of what like it
changes.
it is better than a sleight of hand.
I agree with this. I do agree with this. Like, it changes prioritization in some interesting ways. I think it's. I mean, I ultimately think this is just like a good build around. Like,
I think this is like one problem with this is like 2-mana 1/3. I guess it blocks okay. Like you do like it's like somewhat fragile, but I have 2 of this and Grafdigger's Cage in play and cast. Oh, because Grafdigger's Cage prevents the Manifest Dread from like putting the thing on the battlefield from manifesting Dread. I'm gonna. Nor the answer is that you get DQ'd for putting Grafdigger's Cage in your Duskmourn limited deck.
I think I appreciate you, Nor. I am very glad you brought this up as a potential sideboard card to counteract your opponent's sideboard Gravedigger's Cage against your Manifest Dreads in Modern.
Yes, I agree. What am I giving this? Let's say fragile but powerful. Like, it's a 1/3, you know?
Yeah. It's definitely not a block. It's definitely not an exciting blocker.
Yeah. Get Out. Blue. Which makes you think Counterspell, but very different. Well, I mean, not that different, I guess. Instant. Choose one. Counter target creature or enchantment spell for the first spell, or return 1 or 2 target creatures and or enchantments you own to your hand. This makes me wonder, how many cards in Duskmourn? First of all, is Scryfall fully updated on Duskmourn yet? It looks mostly updated. Yeah, okay. So I'm curious how many cards are not creatures and also not enchantments in the set. Like, how close is this to Counterspell? And also not lands, I guess. There are 65 cards in the set that are not creatures and not enchantments. Out of like generally there's like 200 to 300.
Yeah.
It's like pretty good. This counters a lot of things. It doesn't counter like a bunch of the removal spells, but it counters some of the removal spells.
I mean, I feel like it counters most of the removal spells, kind of.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't counter like Exercise or like Scorching Dragfire.
Depending on how you define countering that.
Oh, because of the return up to 1 or 2 target creature. Okay. Yeah, that's different than countering.
I do agree that this is different than countering.
Okay, but I think this is really strong, though.
Like, the second mode is, like, very good in the situation where, say, you have a room where you've played the half of it with an ETB effect, your opponent attempts to exercise the room before you can use the other half and you bounce it.
That's fair. Yeah, I guess most of the... Okay, wait. Okay, well, I'm just now looking at like how many of these cards like aren't removal spells. Okay, so there's like an equipment. There's like removal. I guess there's like a cantrip. There's like There's like a few equipment in the set that this doesn't counter. Like a bunch of. I guess a lot of this is removal. There's like reanimation spell. Yeah, I guess this is just pretty good, huh? Yeah. Okay. New opinion. Counter spell with upside.
I was gonna
just counter spell.
I was gonna say counter spell vibes.
Counter spell vibes. Like actual counter spell vibes.
Oh yeah.
Which notably counter spell is not like that good in limited, right? Like,
I agree.
Counterspell is good, but not like excellent in limited because blue is a high cost. But this is a powerful effect, certainly. Yeah, I don't know.
I agree. I think that this is a card I want to. I think that if I am in a deck in this format that would want to play Counterspell, I likely also want to play this card in similar ways.
Imagine you Imagine. Okay. You know the meat locker. I don't know what the draw half of that was called. Meat locker drowns diner card.
Yep.
Like draw 3 and the stun thing. Imagine like you're like late deep in the game. You've like stunned. You've gotten your like stun value. You've gotten your draw 3. You're holding up your counter spell, and then your opponent doesn't cast anything that you care about countering, and you just go end of turn. Bounce my meat locker, bounce my bounce my other room that like maybe is like a removable spell or like a thing. That's a lot of value.
Oh yeah, of course, that sounds excellent.
Okay, now I'm thinking of the other mode of this as like double regrow, like a double regrow.
Yes.
And that makes it a lot more appealing also.
I do realize we haven't, I know we weren't talking about it as double regrow, but obviously it is notable that like this is also kind of a double.
Yeah.
Like it is a build around double regrowth next to like what is functionally the card counter spell.
Okay, I have a new take.
Yep.
Almost 3 SA.
I pulled, but I like it.
Only the hottest takes here, hot off the presses. They're referencing 3 steps ahead from OTJ, but
Stay hidden, stay silent. 1 into blue for an enchantment aura. Enchant creature. When stay hidden, stay silent enters, tap enchanted creature. Enchanted creature doesn't untap during its controller's untap step. 4 blue. Shuffle enchanted creature into its owner's library, then manifest dread. Activate only as a sorcery. I like this.
it's like a good version of this removal spell.
Yeah. I don't know, it's a lot better than claustrophobia
Yeah.
in like multiple ways.
I'm gonna say decent removal. I don't know. I don't think this is like. I think this is like pretty good, but not. Like I'm not convinced this is better than the 1 mana one.
That's fair.
Like the 1 mana one removes abilities. This doesn't.
That
Like,
is true.
Obviously, there's the 5 mana mode. The 6 mana like shuffle it in and manifest dread, and like it's a nice 2-for-1, but it's really expensive.
Yes. I want to say solid removal. I think it's a bit better than you're giving it credit for, but I do think you were. I think it likely is worse than Unable to Scream.
I love that card so much.
Same.
Fear of Imposters. 1 blue for an enchantment creature nightmare. It's a 3/2 with flash. When it enters, counter target spell. Any spell. Its controller manifests dread. So this is better than the white removal spell, the Unwanted Remake, because you do get a creature to contend with their creature.
Yes.
So like it is like kind of an even trade. Except like, is it really?
That is a complicated question.
Yeah, like. So the thing is, compare this to a cancel, right? If this was just straight cancel, you wouldn't get the 3/2. Your opponent wouldn't get the manifest dread, right? It's just a cancel, right? But instead, on top of the cancel, like your opponent gets the manifest dread and you get a 3/2. I think they came up on that.
Yeah. I feel like the vibe I'm landing on this one is lateral cancel.
Lateral cancel. This is Fear of Imposters. I think I'm like, I understand that there are times where you can get enough value out of this that like it becomes better than your opponent's manifest dread. Like for example, you have an eerie trigger, right?
Yep.
But I think this card is like kind of not great because like. Then you go up on it because you deck them with 20. And, okay, sure, Nora, sure.
Okay,
I think this card is I'm gonna call worse than cancel.
Okay, I feel the need to say actually with regard, like obviously the draft deck with 20 of these is a joke, but it does run into the other thing about this card, which is that it gets worse in multiples because when you manifest dread, you make your opponent better at counterplaying your counter magic.
Yes, that's another thing, right? Like the other thing is like I don't like that the manifest shred. I like if you're like when you play a cancel, what you want to do is like to like get rid of your opponent's like important thing, right?
Yep.
And but like if you let them manifest shred, you give them another chance to like get another. You give them 2 looks at another like important thing, TM, right?
Yes.
Like another threat.
I agree with that.
I don't like this. I do not want to put this card in my deck.
Unwilling Vessel. 2 and a blue for a 3/2 creature, human wizard, vigilance. Eerie. Whenever an enchantment you control enters, and whenever you fully unlock a room, put a possession counter on Unwilling Vessel. When it dies, create an XX blue spirit creature token with flying, where X is the number of counters on Unwilling Vessel.
So 3 mana, 3/2 vigilance doesn't do anything by itself. But like if you play like a few rooms and it dies into a flying spirit.
I hate that obviously this isn't the most useful place, but the first place my mind goes to is that +1/+1 counters you put on it also increase the power of the spirit you get.
Oh, that's funny. I didn't notice that it said number of counters.
So like, even though there are a lot of, I think it's probably decent baseline. I think it's probably like decent but not great baseline, but it gets like really but because of like that specific dynamic, it gets kind of really interesting to me in like a blue-white Eerie deck with the Generous Visitor variant.
Yeah. Okay, so here's my worry. My worry is that this is a 3 mana card that like when it comes down it's just a 3/2. Like if you feel pressured to trade it off, you have played a 3 mana 3/2 that traded. Which like is okay, I guess. But like you're not like I feel like that floor means that the card can only be so good, right?
Yep.
Like I think you need to trigger it twice to be like that happy.
I agree. Like for what it's worth, where I want to go with this is the vibe I want to put on this one is a lot of work, because I think the defining part of it is more than anything that like it asks for a lot of work to make good. But I'm also like, I don't know, if you're able to do the thing, I can see it actually doing a lot.
I'm going to say death trigger derogatory.
Reasonable. That is the other problem.
Cursed Windbreaker, 2 and a blue for an artifact equipment. ETB, manifest dread, then attach this to it. Equipped creature has flying, and it has equipped 3. Interesting. It's like it's a Winddrake with upside, where the upside is that first of all, well, a couple upsides. First of all, it's an equipment that you can move around. Second of all, you could like randomly high roll like a big thing in your manifest dread that now has flying.
Yep. I think this card is pretty good.
I think this card is a Winddrake with upside.
Yeah.
I think that can be okay.
I think that both parts of the upside it gives are relevant in ways I like. Like I like that you can roll into a big thing, and I think that is not that impossible with Manifest Dread as a mechanic. And I like that it sticks around as an equipment. I forget, there was a card like this in Fate Reforged.
I want to call this mopey value. It's like a bit mopey when you play it, but it can give you value. Like this is the kind of card where I think like it's okay to play like a small number of cards that are mopey value cards, but like the value that this gives you is not even like that. It's like somewhat hard to realize. It's like very marginal value, and it is kind of mopey, so it has a lot of diminishing returns.
I want to say inconsistent value, because I think that the value is less. I think that my issue with the value is less like it being mediocre than it being like inconsistent and weird.
Yeah.
Unnerving Grasp. 2 and a blue for a sorcery. Return up to 1 non-land permanent to its owner's hand. Manifest Dread.
It's Mana War!
It is Mana War.
With a lot of upside.
Yeah.
Well, you can't. I guess you can't blink it, but
I mean, but how much are we blinking things in this set?
not at all. But I'm just saying, Mana War sometimes has been better because of blink.
Yep.
I don't know. Like, these are always good.
Yep.
And this seems like an excellent version.
I agree.
It fuels delirium well.
It is Mana War with upside.
Yeah, this is to Manifest Dread as Mana War is to Grizzly Bears.
True. True.
And then we like to Manifest Dread, so how good is this card? Very? Yeah, I guess this... I don't know. I'm gonna say unhinged rate.
I'm just gonna say Mana War with upside.
That's not 2 words, so I'm gonna put a plus.
Yeah, that works. I mean, it has dashes.
Well, you see, I'm counting. Words are capital letters. Each capital letter is a word.
Fair.
That's how I've been counting it. So Mana War has 2 capital letters, therefore it's 2 words.
Yep.
That's very scientific. Yeah, I don't know. I think this is not unhinged rate in all caps like the red-green one, that are uncommon. But I think this card is like really, really strong. I don't know. Ghostly Keybearer, 3 and a blue for a 3/3 spirit with flying. And when it deals combat damage to a player, unlock a locked door of up to 1 target room you control. Very weird mana dork, but like potentially extremely powerful mana dork. Like this can make you like 5+ mana when it connects.
I am exceedingly skeptical of this ability.
Really? Really? You're skeptical of this ability?
Honestly, yeah. Like it's
Like to me, this ability reads when this deals combat damage to a player, you win the game.
Okay, but like, I'm not.
I'm obviously this is extremely facetious, but
Yes.
I think if you connect with this and unlock a door that costs like 4 or more, you are so likely to win.
Oh, I do
game.
agree with that. I feel like I have like. I still need to be a bit convinced that we have like that rooms exist in a way that helps you. That exist in a way where like you're getting high impact, expensive sides from cheap sides that help you attack. Because I have not been feeling that as much.
Well, consider the blue room, the meat locker diner room, which literally one half is tap and stun something, help you attack, and the other half is draw 3, discard 1.
I know that's what's on your mind. Yeah.
I don't know.
I think it is likely quite good.
Okay. Now imagine it with the unsummon plus like saboteur, or not saboteur, unsummon Ophidian room, right? You unsummon something, attack, unlock the Ophidian half. Next turn you attack, draw a card, and like unlock some other thing. Who knows? Well, I think what I want to say is this is the best. I don't know what a 4-mana 3/3 flyer is called. Do you know what that sizing is called?
Phantom Monster?
Best Phantom Monster we've ever seen. Oh, sorry. When I say sorry, to be clear, when I say that, I don't mean like Talus Lookout is not a Phantom Monster, right? That's like the 4-mana 3/2 that like dies and you draw when it dies you draw a card. That card is like categorically different than a Phantom Monster. This card is still categorically a Phantom Monster in that it is a 4-mana 3/3 flyer that that has the problems of like, it kind of dies to stuff. It kind of doesn't block all that well, but like at least when it connects, things are going really well for you.
Yeah, I want to say it's likely good. I think that it has a lot of upside. I'm just okay, Noor.
What is Ether Storm Rock?
Okay, Noor.
Ether Storm Rock. Well, okay, no, but this isn't a Phantom monster because it's like this doesn't have the problems of a Phantom monster. It does stuff. It does stuff other than like being a 3/3 flyer. Kind of, the thing is the stuff that Key Bearer does is like very minimal until like very delayed until like it exactly connects. Aetherstone Rock does things a lot sooner. Dirge Bat? What the fuck is a Dirge Bat? Oh, that's not a Phantom monster. That's a Flame Tongue Covet. These are not Phantom monsters. I think you misunderstand what I mean when I say best Phantom monster. What I'm saying is that this is still fundamentally a Phantom monster. It's just like, you know. Anyways, what did you say?
I said likely good. I think it's
likely good. I'm gonna say best Phantom.
Fear of failed tests. 4 and a blue for a 2/7 enchantment creature nightmare. When it deals combat damage to a player, draw that many cards.
Usually 2, but
usually 2.
I mean, it'd be powerful.
Like, it does things that are desirable in Control, but I don't want to put the work in to make this good.
Yeah. 7 is a lot of toughness.
Yes, 7 is a lot of toughness. That is the first thing I think when I look at this. Like, I don't know, in a Control deck, it comes down, it blocks well, and when you're able to attack with it, it draws cards, and all of these things are desirable, but also, like, I don't want to do work to make it better than that, I guess. And I don't want to do... Yeah.
I want to give this the vibe of big but ... as in like BUT.
Yeah, I'm down for that.
Like, it's big, but like I think it has some structural problems that like I know actually best wish coin.
Yes.
This is the best wish coin crab you've ever seen.
I want to say just like desirable but rough.
Like, I don't know. Like, I think like Wish Coin Crab and like Phantom Monster are both cards that are like okay, not amazing sometimes, and like have their awkwardnesses. And like these two cards like don't solve any of the awkwardnesses, but give you some very specific power in a way that like makes them appealing.
Yeah.
But like they still have those weaknesses, right?
I agree.
Anyways. Fear of Falling. 3 blue for a 4/4 enchantment creature nightmare with flying. Whenever Fear of Falling attacks, target creature defending player controls gets -2/-1, loses flying until your next turn. So like it's really good in races.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Well, it's also a best air elemental. That's been called. No, this is categorically different.
Yes, I'm actually not convinced this is categorically different, but I also think there have been better air elementals in the past.
No, I think this is categorically different because like one problem with air elemental is like when you attack with it, it doesn't like provide any defensive value.
Yes, that is true.
How did Jacob not die? Oh, the flavor text. Because it was a dream.
All right.
But I guess that is technically a Vigor Mortis reference.
Oh, that's
congratulations, Nora, you get a cookie.
All right.
I like that you can. I like when I look at this card. I almost read it as Fear of Failing, as in like the previous card. But I don't know. I don't know how to evaluate this card.
I just want to say. I think I just want to say good at combat because that's kind of just what it is. Like, it fights well, but it does. Like it does. I think it just does combat good TM, but it doesn't really do anything more than that on a 5-drop.
I'm gonna say expensive, but okay.
I think
like basically my worry is that it costs 5 mana, and like 4 toughness isn't that hard to get through.
Yep. Yeah, essentially, yeah. Like, my line is, I think it's very good at combat ultimately, but like, you want your 5 drops to do more than just combat. Duskmourn's Domination.
Eyebrows.
For blue, enchantment aura, you control enchant creature, you control enchanted creature. Enchanted creature gets -3/-0 and loses all abilities.
Worst mind control? Like, why are we like making the mind control worse? Like it's already 6 mana. I want to steal the thing. I don't want to just weirdly kill the thing.
Yes.
Like, okay. Oh, I know. Expensive murder.
I was about to say expensive removal.
Like, it's just like it. Giving it -3/-0 and stripping all abilities. Just you didn't get anything. You just murdered it.
Yes. Agree. Expensive removal.
It sounds good.
Like,
Okay, blue. What are our blue vibes overall?
what are blue vibes? Blue one.
I think like I really liked Get Out, and I really liked the Mana War, but like I don't know, it's weird. I want to say powerful but flawed. I feel like every card in blue feels like powerful but flawed. Except the Mana War.
I want to say that from what I saw, blue feels largely invested in combat. Like, I did not feel like the blue cards were cards that we saw particularly wanted me to be like building a deck that is just like sitting there and generating value.
Except Get Out.
Except Get Out. But Get Out is like,
Okay, my 2-word vibe is Get Out. Clearly.
yeah.
You said so invested in combat?
Yeah, like,
I didn't get quite that vibe. Like the core Skyfisher is like pretty value oriented, I think.
I think there's a lot of there's a lot of self bounce in it. There is a lot of like self bounce stuff in there, but like, I am not convinced that like those enablers are like impactful unless you also, I don't know. I did not feel like those kinds of enablers read that impactful unless you were like using them in ways that would win combat to me, but maybe that might be off, but that was the vibe I got from blue.
Okay, where do we want to take a break?
I think I'd prefer to take the break here, but I could also do black first if you'd prefer.
Yeah, let's take a break here. Just like quick bio break, go to the
Yep.
bathroom, get some water, refill water. So yeah, just gonna BRB really quick, and then we'll do black. Maybe we'll do black and red, take another short break, and then do green and the last few colorless cards.
Works for me. I'm also fine just pushing through.
Yeah, we'll play it by ear.
Yep,
So-
we'll figure out vibes after we do red.
BRB. That's last thing. Okay, we are back.
Hello.
Back and better than ever. Or just as good as ever. Something compared to ever. Black uncommons. Okay, let's start off with Valgavoth's Faithful. Definitely not me. Black for a 1/1 human cleric with 3 in the black. Sack it at sorcery speed to reanimate something from your graveyard. I think most of the reanimation in this format is your graveyard. I don't love it. it's like a.
I like that it doesn't give. I like that it doesn't give a finality counter.
Yeah, but like, I don't want to play 1-mana 1/1. I also don't want to like play a 5-mana reanimation spell, or like not even really a 4-mana reanimation spell. And then like sometimes your opponent just kills it. I don't know.
Like, okay, just to be real,
X1 hate.
when I look at this, my brain tries to figure out a way to like loop this. Tries to figure out if we have a way to loop this for value, and so we can reanimate multiple things with it.
Well, you mean like a gravedigger, like trying to look for a gravedigger or something?
Yes.
Like
yes, like this is.
Oh, return graveyard. And I want it to be a creature. How do you feel about Overlord of the Baelmer?
I think it's good with Overlord of the Baelmer.
Yeah, probably. Unfortunately, that's a mythic, and I don't think Savior of the Small. Not really. I don't like.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a thing. I don't know. I don't love this. I think this card is just like bad reanimation. That's my take. You? I'm just on like this card is. I want to say this card is. I'm on like clunky, but maybe. I just think there are weird thing. Even without like the explicit Gravedigger loop, I do think there are likely weird things we can pull off with this being like a creature that you sacrifice. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I think the rate is just so bad.
I mean, it is a pretty poor rate.
Tag yourself, though. I'm a
Cynical Loner.
Not actually.
1 into black for a 3/1 creature, human survivor. It cannot be blocked by glimmers and survival at the beginning of your second main phase. If it is tapped, you may search your library for a card, put it into your graveyard, then shuffle.
Well, yeah, it can't be blocked by those 1/1s or by the like lion. Or by the blue-white uncommon.
Like, I don't think the card is terrible.
I also think it's a 2-mana 3/1.
Yeah,
I think this card is like mostly a 2-mana 3/1, and like I guess like occasionally you'll get a bit of value from it.
It's the weirdness of it's a 2-mana 3/1 that can't be blocked by some of the 1/1 tokens.
I agree with some of the 1/1 tokens. I don't know. It can still be blocked by like random 2/2s. It's like a 2-mana 3/1. It's like it's not that bad. Like
my vibe is 2-mana 3/1.
Same. Next card, Osseous Stick Twister. What does that mean?
What, like which part of it?
I guess like it's something that twists the sticks. Osseous means like bony.
Yeah, like I think comprised of bone material.
Sure. 1 in the black for a 2/2 artifact creature Scarecrow with lifelink. At the beginning of your end step, if you delirium, each opponent may sacrifice a non-land permanent or discard a card. Then this deals damage equal to its power to each opponent who didn't do either of those. So they either like get drained for 2 basically, or sack a thing or discard a card. If you have delirium. I mean, this card just reads good, right?
Yeah, I like this. My brain read the text before the mana cost and thought it was 3 mana. Yeah, this card seems good.
No, yeah. 2 mana, 2/2 lifelink is just like
Yep.
a good stat line generally.
Yeah.
And also notably, like usually a lot of times your opponent can go like, oh, I'm just gonna like take the like 3 damage or whatever instead of giving up a resource.
Yep.
When it's a drain, you're also stabilizing yourself.
Oh yeah.
That's really appealing.
Yep. Also, like, obviously this is more minor here, but if your deck is built to get Delirium, it is still an artifact creature, and an artifact creature that is desirable to kill.
Yeah. It helps Delirium.
Yep.
What's your
Good in Delirium.
Yep. I think it's just good overall. I'm gonna say good overall. I think it's just not that hard to make it. Like, I don't know, it's a 2 mana, 2/2 lifelink.
That's fair. I'm also like, I think it's an effect that you uniquely want. That makes. I think it is an effect where it is that like uniquely wants you to enable it fairly quickly. Anyway, Nowhere to Run. 1 into black for an enchantment. Flash. When Nowhere to Run enters, target creature an opponent controls gets -3/-3 until end of turn. Creatures your opponent's control can be the targets of spells and abilities as though they didn't have hexproof. Ward abilities of those creatures don't trigger. Nowhere. I mean, I think this is very good.
Rectangle Theory. That's my vibes. It's a removal spell that leaves behind a thing that you can then sack.
Yep.
Or pick up with Get Out. Imagine picking up 2 copies of this with Get Out.
Oh God. I mean, I just want to say great answer.
Great answer.
Yeah.
That's a great answer.
Thank you.
Sporogenic Infection. This is a weird one. It's kind of like the Thoughtseize one. One of the black for an enchantment aura, enchant creature. When it enters, target player sacrifices a creature other than the enchanted creature, and it has that text again. Whenever enchanted creature is dealt damage, destroy it.
Damn, this seems really, really good in this specific situation where your opponent has 2 big creatures and nothing else.
Yeah, so, okay. So, you joke, but also, like, it's good in the situation where your opponent has exactly 2 creatures, and you want to kill one of them, right?
Obviously, I do joke. I agree that it's generally good whenever your opponent has 2 creatures. Like, the fact that you can, I think the second line of text, I think that when enchanted creature just is dealt damage, destroy it line is not particularly important. In fact,
if your opponent only has 1 creature, you can just put this on your own creature and say, edict you.
Oh, I did not think of that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, I am fairly sold on I think the card is good. I think it's good removal. I think it is good removal. I think if we're looking for synergy with it beyond it just being good removal, I am more interested in sacking it than trying to make the other line relevant.
Yeah, though, I mean, Fear of Lost Teeth.
True.
Obviously it's very good with sack, but unlike the previous one, it's kind of hard to keep this around. Harder to keep this around, so it's a bit awkward. Still, I'm gonna say this is a good edict. Good as far as edicts go.
I'm on the same page. Good edict.
It gets really awkward when your opponent controls 2 glimmers, though.
Yes. Yes. Okay, but what if they control Glimmer and a Gremlin?
Well, obviously you make them suck the Gremlin, because your cynical loner can't be blocked by their Glimmer.
True. Popular Egotist. 2 into black for a 3/2 creature, human rogue. 1 into black. Sacrifice another creature or enchantment. Popular Egotist gains indestructible until end of turn and tap it. Whenever you sacrifice a permanent, target opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life.
Decently strong, but it's also a 3/2.
Yeah.
The ability's kind of expensive.
I agree. I mean, I like life drain when you sacrifice a permanent.
Yeah, that's pretty nice.
This being weird, weird blood artist on a creature that can fight, and obviously obviously it's a lot worse than Blood Artist, but as an ability. But like,
I want to say this is like. I think this is a bit like. What's the word? Like clunky, but powerful. That's my vibe. Like, mostly like the clunky in the you're playing. You pay 3 mana for a 3/2, and then like you kind of want to untap with it for it to do anything, right?
I want to just say payoff with fail rate.
Payoff with fail. Fail rate is one word.
I agree.
Killer's Mask. This is an equipment with ETB, Manifest Dread, then attach this to that creature, and it has the creature has Menace and Equip for 2. This is similar to the blue equipment, except it's Menace instead of Flying, and it's Equip for 2 instead of 3. Worse?
I think
like a lot?
I do think this is a lot worse than the blue version.
Yeah, Flying is better than Menace, as it turns out.
Yep.
I
don't know. I just want to say mediocre value because that's how I see it.
Mediocre value. I'm just gonna say. Well, it's not that good with sack synergies because, like, most of the things that tell you to sack, I think, don't let you sacrifice an artifact. Like the part you want to sacrifice is the mask, right? Not the creature. I don't know. I think this card is just like. It is like unjustifiable rate. Like, it is too bad. Next.
Commune with Evil. 2 and a black for a sorcery. Look at the top 4 cards of your library. Put one of them into your hand and the rest into your graveyard. You gain 3 life.
Delirious Impulse. I don't know. It feels like it seems as good as Impulse.
Yeah, like, I don't know. I just
and
want...
it feels Delirium. Like, it does a similar kind of thing.
My vibe is Delirium Control.
Delirium Control.
Delirium, yeah. I want to care about Delirium. I want to be in control. If both of those things are true, I want to play this card.
Yeah, this card seems good. It just seems like a good role, like good tool. I don't know, I don't know exactly how strong to value it, but it does seem like a good tool.
Oh yeah.
Withering Torment. 2 in the black, instant, destroy target creature enchantment. You lose 2 life. I guess it gives black away to kill enchantments, but like flexible but mediocre.
Do you think it's? I'm not
losing 2 life is a lot. I think
that's fair. Like, I need to. I'm not. God, I don't feel like losing life quickly is that much of a thing. Doesn't always feel like that much of a thing in this set.
I think.
I just want to say flexibility in black because I don't think it's. I don't know. I'm not sold that this is mediocre.
I think it's really easy to underestimate how much 2 life is as a cost.
Like, I think it's bad. I don't know. I think it's bad against aggressive decks, but I also think that I like answering enchantments.
I think you don't need to. You could just not play a card that is low rate like this. This is low rate. I think you could sideboard this in. I just don't want you can presumably get stuff from your other color. I just don't it's not that bad, right? You can play destroy target creature, you lose 2 life. It's just kind of mediocre, I think. I don't know.
Dashing Bloodsucker. 3 into black for a 2/5 creature, Vampire Warrior. Eerie, whenever an enchantment you control enters and whenever you fully unlock a room. Dashing Bloodsucker it's +2/+0 and gains lifelink until end of turn.
4 mana, 4/5 lifelink on attacks, kind of.
Yeah.
I feel like this set has a lot of good racers. I'm gonna put that as my as my vibe. I think this card is okay.
I think it is gonna. I think this is a card where I kind of expect to play it and have it fall back on being a wish coin crab a decent amount of the time, but I also don't mind that on this one as much, I guess.
Yeah, but like also like when you do trigger Eerie, you get to like swing for 4 lifelink.
Yeah, exactly.
It's pretty good. Like I think it solves a lot of the problems with wish coin crab.
Oh yeah, I agree. Oh no, I agree strongly. I think I just want to say. I think I want to say like. I think I want to say slow but races.
Slow but races.
I think is where I'm at with this.
Defiled Crypt. Let's swap this again. Defiled Crypt is a 3 and a black, half of this room. And it says whenever one or more cards leave your graveyard, create a 2/2 black horror enchantment creature token. It's an enchantment creature token. The ability triggers only once each turn. And the right half, Cadaver Lab, black, raise dead, like to just return target creature from your graveyard to your hand. So overall, this is like a 3 black Gravedigger, but then one that continues to give you value if you like the more you do this.
Yeah.
And any card leaving your graveyard. So like the White Survivor triggers this, Say Its Name triggers this. Like anything that exiles from your graveyard. Oh, there's a card called Ghost Vacuum. I guess that's not rare, but like one that like exiles a card from your graveyard every turn.
I think to have like a full opinion on this card, I would need to do another run through. I would need to do a more complete run through of all the ways to trigger it. I think it. Like, I like the idea of the build around. Part of me is concerned because I kind of feel like leaving the graveyard is going to. Yeah, I think I feel somewhat like leaving the graveyard is going to be enough work that like a 2/2 on its own is not necessarily the most compelling reward, but like they are Erd, which makes me.
Okay, do you want me to sell you on this card?
Yeah, go for it.
This is a triple Eerie Gravedigger.
Oh, I know. That's what I was about to say. Like,
Okay.
I like it when I'm trying to figure out how much I like the card without Eerie things because I actively like this card a lot. If we're doing
Yeah.
Eerie things with
So
it.
like Gravedigger, like 4-mana Gravedigger is generally pretty good, right?
Yeah, of course.
There's only 1 additional mana, and you get to split it up, which is nice. Also,
That is true.
right? Like, okay. So I will say this is less split upable than other things in that if you play the 1-mana mode first, you won't get the 2/2 from the other half, which is a bit awkward. But also sometimes you would rather raise dead than Gravedigger.
I agree. Like, I think I mean, where I land, I think, is like, I don't know. I know that if I am comfortable with the idea that I can trigger this more than once, and I am comfortable with the idea that I'm getting more than just like 2/2 bodies, I'm very excited about this card. I'm a lot less sold on it if it's just like a Gravedigger.
Synergy required.
Yeah, I think I am on synergy required, but I am really not sure exactly how much yet.
I'm gonna just say triple Eerie and add some question marks for excitement. Oh,
All right, let's play a game.
what game should we play?
Well, 3 into black, sorcery, delirium. Choose one. If there are 4 or more card types among cards in your graveyard, choose 1 or more instead. Creatures your opponents control get -1/-1 until end of turn. Each opponent discards 2 cards. Each opponent loses 3 life, and you gain 3 life.
You know what I think about this game?
What?
I think this game is unplayable. So, okay, here let's break down the modes, right? Let's say you don't have Delirium. None of these modes are very good if you don't have Delirium, right? Like, -1/-1 to everything. Maybe it wipes your opponent's board, but probably not. Each opponent discards 2 cards. 4 mana Minor Rod's not good. And 4 mana Drain for 3. And Creeping Chill is not a good card. So, obviously, the point is you want Delirium. But when you have Delirium, that's late in the game, is your opponent likely to have 2 cards in their hand still? Probably not as likely. Like the -1/-1 could be impactful, but like still very situational, and you have to like, if you're like waiting, like the -1/-1 effect is often like you need to cast it exactly when it's good, because you won't have very many opportunities, and if you have to also wait for Delirium, it's not great, right?
Oh yeah, like I have been thinking, like we've been talking about, like what turn do I want to consistently get Delirium on to make this an interesting card in my deck, and my answer is 5.
4.
My answer is 5. I think I'm willing to.
My answer is 5. My answer is like kind of 4.
Regardless, this is earlier than I want to put the effort in for this level of payoff.
Yeah. Unplayable. It doesn't even deserve 2 words.
Agreed.
I'm gonna say literally unplayable for the meme. Vile Mutilator. 5 black for a 6/5 demon. As initial cost to cast it, you have to sacrifice either a creature or an enchantment. It has Flample, and when it enters, each opponent sacrifices both a non-token enchantment and a non-token creature. So first the enchantment, then the creature. So theoretically, this could be a like 3 for 2, right?
Yeah. This feels very Reanimator coded to me.
Yep.
Like more
I agree.
Like it feels Reanimator coded. I
think you can just cast this also though. Like if you just have a random thing lying around, you cast this, and like if you just have a random enchantment that isn't that, like a nowhere to run or whatever.
Like I agree that you can do it. I'm just like
I guess I don't know how impactful it is.
Yeah, like I think it has too much fail case to make me want to though. Like I think it's very castable. It's one of those things where like it's very castable, but I don't think it will. But I think that when you cast it, it doesn't do as much as you want it to. But when you reanimate it, it does, I guess, because it also has the problem of like being an effect that gets worse later in, or that is it also Like I just want to say Reanimator coded. Like I don't want to play this card on turn 7 is the other thing, because that feels like the turn where my opponent will have things to sacrifice that are not a problem.
Yeah, I put fallible if cast.
Live or Die. 3 black, instant, choose 1, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield, destroy target creature.
Well, you get to Ambush Viper stuff.
You do. I like this. I think Ambush Viper Reanimate is like... I think that a 5-mana kill spell is impactful enough to be a legal fail case for a 5-mana Reanimate spell, and I do think that like past a certain point, these 5-mana Reanimate spells do have meaningful upside. Do have like meaningful best cases.
Yeah, I guess. I think this is a... I feel like this is something that like looks like you read it and you're like, oh wow, I can imagine the best case of this. Like get back a 7-mana thing and then eat their creature to boot. But then like it plays out and like that just like never happens. Like many things have to line up well.
Of course, but also like if you have creatures that are like, if you have like particularly high value creatures in your deck, this is still just additional copies of them in a grindy game, which I know, which is a thing. And like the problem is that I think that like I really do think the destroy target. I think that mode is still very valuable in a lot of ways. And I think that is only usually unplayable because it has as much fail case as it does, and the destroyed target creature goes a long way towards making up the fail case.
That's fair. I'm gonna say harder than you think. Than you is not a word.
Yeah.
What's your vibe?
I think my vibe. My vibe is optimistic that it's consistent.
Very two words for this one.
I mean, I do think this is a really complicated card to analyze in a lot of ways.
That's fair. Miasma Demon. 4 black for a 5/4 demon with flying. When it enters, you may discard any number of cards. Just pitch your whole hand. When you do, up to that many target creatures each get -2/-2 until end of turn. Notably, you cannot pitch 2 cards to give one creature -4/-4. It's just like, spread out the -2/-2s. Is this card playable? I'm going to say way too narrow.
I'm going to say uncomfortably narrow because I am less inclined to dismiss. I'm less inclined to dismiss it because there are just game states where you will be losing that this card can solve, but it's so bad. It's so often.
Yeah, I don't know.
It has the energy. It genuinely does have the energy to me. I don't think it actually plays. I want to put this into my deck. I want to put the worst Wrath possible into my deck, I guess, even though I don't think it's actually a Wrath.
I would like this a lot more if you could double up on creatures.
Oh, I'd be very interested in this card if you could double up on creatures because,
sometimes you just want to, pay 3 cards to put a 5/4 flying into play and kill their 4/4.
Exactly. But, it does not do that. It really does not do that.
What's our black vibes? I don't like it. I'm just looking at these cards and I'm like, I don't like any of these cards.
I think my black vibe is just removal.
Just removal. Nothing compelling is mine. I just don't see a reason to be black. Which is odd in a horror set, I guess.
It is.
I don't know.
But all the other colors are also doing horror things.
Yeah.
Alright, Norin, Swift Survivalist. Red for a 2/1 legendary creature, Human Coward. Norin, Swift Survivalist can't block. Whenever a creature you control becomes blocked, you may exile it. You may play that card from exile this turn.
It makes your creatures marginally harder to block. You can alpha a bunch of survivors into your opponent's board, and even if one of them let's say your opponent has 1/4/4 and you have 3 survivors, you can attack with all of them and get 2 of the triggers without sacrificing one.
My flavor brain is dying at the fact that he is called Swift Survivalist, and yet if you use his ability to keep a survivor alive, you distinctly do not get their survivor ability.
For multiple reasons.
Yes.
You would if you had Leyline of Anticipation and your opponent had Talia.
True.
Yeah, I mean, so I think this card could be powerful. Fun fact, if you think about it, it's kind of a active treason combination. You steal your opponent's creature, and if they block it, they lose it.
True. Genuinely, I think the only situation where I really want this card in my deck is with the only thing that makes me want this card in my deck from what we've seen is the red-white uncommon doll. Because I actually think it's quite good with that.
Cheap attacks? Cheap attack triggers?
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
Is that also...
Yeah, I do think this one's awesome.
What was
Yeah, my vibe is just like attack triggers.
I think they need to be cheap though.
I agree. Like, again, like the only one the card that I particularly want to play with is the doll.
Trial of Agony. Red for a sorcery. Choose 2 target creatures controlled by the same opponent. That player chooses one of those creatures. Trial of Agony deals 5 damage to that creature, and the other one can't block this turn. So this one has to be. This one has to target 2 creatures, like 2 creatures an opponent controls. You can't play it if they only have 1. And they get to choose which one dies and which one can't block. But like, even though it does give them that choice, it does remove both of them from combat this turn for 1 mana.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like, I mean, it's a way. If you are in the market for something that just like makes your opponent unable to block for a turn, I actually do like this.
I'm gonna say incredibly aggressive.
Yes,
like you have to be incredibly aggressive.
I'm just gonna be like, I'm just gonna be like disables blocking. Like, I would rather think of this as a card that disables blocking than anything else, but is actually playable.
To address the comment in chat, Norn is pretty can be nice with ETB stuff as well, like making it very disincentivizing your opponent from blocking. It just like making that's not that. I don't think that's that like valuable, like just making something unblockable, except if your opponent just chooses to give you value, right? Like, it is definitely some value. It's just some amount of like value you're getting, but not like it's not nearly as concrete.
I agree. I also would like to say that I have been like passively looking for creatures with compelling ETB abilities because of the amount of recursion in this, because of like the amount of recursion that exists in the set at baseline, and the degree to which the set is interested in like sacrifice and recursion type stuff. And there are not that many that I am excited to make unblockable.
Yeah, like there's the 2-mana 2/1.
Yeah, that was the first one I see. Yeah, like I thought of that one pretty quickly, and then I couldn't quite come up with another.
Yeah. So the other thing is Norn notably cannot block. 2-mana 2/1 does not need that much. Sorry, 1-mana 2/1 does not need that much to be good. But 1-mana 2/1 that can't block does need more to be good.
Yes. Violent Urge. A red instant. Target creature gets +1/+0 and gains first strike until end of turn. Delirium. If there are 4 or more card types among cards in your graveyard, that creature gains double strike until end of turn.
You really need Delirium to make this good.
You really do. I agree that you really do. But it's like, if you make it good, it is like 1-mana Temur Battle Rage.
No, it doesn't give trample.
Oh, right, it doesn't give trample. Thank you for pointing that out. Yeah, I'm no longer invested in this. In the same, I don't know. Like,
I think I feel like the problem is that like your Delirium decks are not going to be great Violent Urge decks. Like, obviously Red Green exists, but like I don't know.
I really, really, really wish that the Delirium version of this gave any toughness. I think I would be a lot more interested in this. I think that this card would be a lot more compelling to me if like specifically if we were thinking on the Delirium side, it gave a single point of toughness.
Yeah, I guess like some part of this is also like, how could this like part of the reason why you might want to play a double strike trick is that like when it's good, it is extremely good, right? But like it is narrow. Like double strike is somewhat narrow as a trick, but like the upside is high. But Delirium restricts when you can use it. So like, I don't know. I'm gonna say timing is hard. I'm be skeptical.
I'm gonna say just like struggles to be impactful.
Irreverent Gremlin. This is like the only other Gremlin in the set that's not a token. 1 in the red for a 2/2 Gremlin with Menace. Whenever another creature you control with power 2 or less enters, you may discard a card. If you do, draw a card. Only once per turn. Okay, like rummages.
Yeah, this seems fine to me, I guess.
Yeah, it's like good. I want to say. I almost no, it's not filler. It has Menace.
I mean, it seems like I think even with Menace, this is pretty fillery to me.
No, it's like good. It's like a good. Like this is just a good 2-drop. Like notably good 2-drop. Like I think this just like filters through your draws. Like compare this to the like Reckless Detective that like obviously that one can like sack artifacts and draw cards, but like you know there's something that just like rummages every turn and like is an aggressive 2-power creature. Like
no, I mean it's either going to be good 2-drop or solid 2-drop for me. Like its primary function is just to be a 2-drop. So like I'm fine giving good 2-drop. Like yeah. Piggy Bank Inc. 1 and a red for a 3/2 artifact creature, Bortoy. When it dies, create a treasure token. I like this card.
Good 2-drop.
Good 2-drop. Good 2-drop. Notably,
Inevitable Delirium.
Yep, I do think this one is actually notable in the sense of like you play your 3/2 swing until it trades. It fuels Delirium, and like it fuels Delirium while trading and actively like and gives you a death trigger.
Yeah, Riveteer Requisitioner was better because of Blitz though.
Yeah.
So you could like more force it to trade off. Like you just had a bit more agency there, I think. Betrayer's Bargain. As additional costs, sack a creature or enchantment, or just pay 2. It deals 5 damage to target creature. If that would die this turn, exile instead. It's an instant. This card is really good. Like 4 mana, 5 damage exile spell that also like you can reduce it by like sacking a thing.
Oh yeah, I'm perfectly comfortable just calling this good removal.
That was like premium removal, honestly. Like there's just so many modes on this. It's nice.
That's fair.
Like I don't know.
Pyroclasm. Yes, Pyroclasm. 1 to red, sorcery. Pyroclasm deals 2 damage to each creature. I feel like there are a lot of 3 toughness creatures in this set.
Yeah, I agree. Sideboard card.
Sideboard card. When I look at Pyroclasm, the first thing I think is that all of the gold uncommon 2-drops had 3 toughness.
Yeah. Untimely Malfunction. This is a weird one. 1 in a red for an instant. Choose 1 of 3. Either destroy target artifact. There's like some amount of artifacts in the set. Change the target of target spell or ability with a single target. You get to redirect a removal spell maybe. Or 1 or 2 target creatures can't block this turn. So like, this is like really weird. Because like none of these 3 effects are effects that you like want every single game.
Yes. And it's weird in the sense that like yeah, none of them are like and I could easily imagine a game playing out where I actively don't want any of these effects.
Yeah, I agree.
But also like they are effects that it is 3 unique effects, each of which have high upside when they like are good.
I'm gonna say condensed sideboards. Like they just put 3 sideboard cards on one card.
I really like that.
I don't know. You're not really gonna bring this in because you care about 2 of the effects. Usually you care about like 1 of the effects.
Yeah, like I want to start this in this. I also just want to start this in the sideboard and bring it in. Like I think actually pretty aggressively.
I don't know. I don't know how good a redirect is, honestly. I don't know.
Fear of being hunted. 1 red. 4/2 enchantment creature nightmare. Haste must be blocked if able.
Target player sacrifices an untapped creature, clearly. No. I mean, I don't know how to evaluate this. Okay, I guess.
Attacks on turn 3. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's a delirium enabler. Guess it trades? I'm gonna say guess it trades. As my vibes. Like, I don't know what to do with this card other than trade. Like, obviously you can play a trick.
Yeah.
There aren't that many tricks. Oh, you know what's really good with this card?
What?
The 4-mana red common that says, like, when you attack, target attacking creature does +1/+1 first strike.
True. Like, part of me almost wants to call this flavor text because of the degree to which just, like, it is often correct to block an attacking 4/2.
That's really good. Okay. Painter Studio is 2 in a red for when you unlock it, exile the top 2 cards of your library. You may play them until the end of your next turn. So like the Rend Resolve kind of cards, except it's 1 extra mana. And Deface Gallery, whenever you attack, attacking creatures you control get +1/+0 until end of turn. I mean, that's like, it's pretty nice to have drawn a 3rd card that's like not quite a full card maybe, but like does push damage.
Oh yeah, like this just seems like really good rate to me.
Yeah. Good draw spell.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say good draw. That's my vibe.
Yeah, I just want to say good rate.
Like, specifically because you can do stuff with the room as well. Ooh, here we go.
Vengeful Possession, 2 and a red sorcery. Gain control of target creature until end of turn. Untap it. It gains haste until end of turn. You may discard a card. If you do, draw a card.
I love that sometimes you'll cast this card and be like, well, I don't have a sack outlet in hand, but things are getting desperate, so let's go digging.
Yes. The ability to dig does not make me want to play this card when I would not have already played an Act of Treason.
That's true, but I don't know. It's still pretty good. I think there are a lot of sack outlets in this.
Oh yeah, like I just want to say, yeah, I just want to say like AOT plus sack.
I think that this card is going to be good.
Yep.
When you steal and sack, and not that good when you don't.
Yep, I am.
Like, I don't think you really want to play Active Treason in, like, maybe I don't think the red decks are aggressive enough. I don't know. The set doesn't feel like an Active Treason kind of set. You know? I don't know it just doesn't give me that vibe. Maybe it's like the fact that you already want to be able to block a survivor, so like, through a removal spell, so like people will be playing around that kind of stuff anyways. I don't know. Diversion Specialist, 3 in a red for a 4/3 human warrior with menace. As 1, I think this is the cheapest sack outlet we've seen so far. No, we've seen the spell that's like Bone Splinters, but 1 sack another creature of enchantment, exile the top card of your library. You may play it this turn.
This is
really good.
This is definitely my favorite sack enabler so far.
Yeah. I mean, like, there's a lot of random enchantments that, like, lay around, and this just, like, draws a card off.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Is this a cycle with Extraction Specialist? What's your vibe?
Sack enabler with an exclamation mark.
It's more like Sack Specialist. I'm just gonna say Rectangle Specialist. It's very good at rectangles. You know?
True. Infernal Phantom, 3 and a red for a 2/3 creature spirit. Eerie, when an enchantment you control enters and whenever you fully unlock a room, it gets +2/+0 until end of turn. When it dies, it deals damage equal to its power to any target.
it's like kind of fireballs your opponent.
It does.
like your opponent either blocks and trades with it and takes that and like leaves you open to either dome them in the face or just 2-for-1 with another creature, or do they just take a bunch of damage?
Yeah.
I like this.
I definitely like it. I feel like it is really reliant on you doing the thing.
Okay, let's say you just play a 4-mana 2/3.
Yep.
And your opponent attacks into it. Like they cannot attack. Like if they have two toughness creatures, like they can't really attack into it.
That's fair.
If they have a 4 toughness creature, you can just trade for the 4 toughness creature. Like it's fine.
That is fair. Yeah.
I think this card is just like delayed tongue Kavu. I don't know. Eerie tongue. I don't know. I think it's like close to FTK.
Fair.
Not really, but like.
Yep.
Death Trigger FTK, which like obviously Death Trigger derogatory, but like
yeah,
I think it's still very good. I don't know.
Yep.
It's also big.
Yeah. No, I want to just say, do the thing because that's where I'm on with it. But
what's the thing?
I'm not sure exactly, but it feels like I don't know. I do not like this path. I don't really like it passively. I like it if you have things to do with it. Is where I'm at.
Like you're constantly triggering Eerie?
I don't know if constantly, but I want to be able to trigger Eerie on meaningful turns for it to attack.
Okay. I'm going to say a lot of damage. That's my vibe. Mm-hmm. Razorkin Horde Caller. 4 and a red for a 4/4 human clown berserker with haste. And whenever you attack, notably just anytime, you don't need to attack this, create a 1/1 red gremlin creature token. That creature token isn't attacking. Aomer?
Aomer?
is this like literally Aomer? I guess it does. It's a 4/4 instead of a 5/4. Oh, but it doesn't have the restriction. Aomer! Exclamation question mark! Exclamation mark! Question mark! Exclamation mark!
Yeah, I'm on board with that.
Excuse me. Whoops. Aomer's back.
Aomer's back.
Yeah, I mean, that's a banger.
All right, Fear of Burning Alive. 4 red for a 4/4 enchantment creature nightmare. When it enters, it deals 4 to each opponent, and whenever a source you control deals non-combat damage to an opponent, if there are 4 more card types among cards in your graveyard, it deals that amount of damage to target creature that player controls.
This is a big delirium payoff.
Yes. I think I like it.
Oh, I think this is really good.
Yeah.
Like, in your delirium decks, like, holy,
yeah.
It's a huge flame tongue like a 4/4 that deals 4 and also deals 4 to your opponent. Like, not only does it, like, flame tongue combo is really nice for stabilizing you if you're behind, right? And like, if you're delirium, I kind of expect to be behind. Give me a second. But like it stabilizes you and then suddenly like shoots their life total as well. So now you're like, ahead.
Yep.
And obviously, if you're like if you're already ahead and pressuring them, this like almost certainly kills them.
Oh, I agree. Like this, I agree. It's both. I don't know. It's both swingy and kills. It's just a lot of rate. Like I just want to say delirium payoff, but like it is a good delirium payoff.
Huge finisher, I think. Okay, red vibes.
Red feels real. Red uncommons feel real good to me.
Yeah. I mean, okay. Aomer. I don't think red commons, like, red uncommons, like, there's a few that stand out. There's some, like, just good 2-drops, but nothing that's, like, other than Aomer, I don't think anything, like, hugely stands out.
I don't know. I agree. I don't know. It feels like we have 2-drops, because I don't know. I also think Painter's Studio Defaced Gallery is quite good.
I agree.
And, like, Fear of Burning Alive.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Like, I feel like we get a lot of the red commons are just, like, kind of just low grade role players, and then we just suddenly start getting like very good high rate cards.
I think the red commons have a lot of good role players, not like low grade.
Oh no, sorry, I'm not. Yeah, for sure. Sorry, I'm a bit tired. I meant that like a lot of the cheaper ones weren't even low grade, but were just like a lot of like small role players.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I don't know. I like red.
I like red. I want to. Yeah.
Vibe.
A lot of rate.
All of eight. Second best.
Yep, makes sense.
I mean, I haven't looked at all of the great uncommons, but
Yep. Do we want to do bio break?
oh yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Let's do a very quick bio break. BRB going to like go to the bathroom, refill water,
Yep.
and finish up with green uncommons and colorless uncommons. I think we're going to get good clips. That's nice.
Yeah.
BRB.
All right.
Okay. Okay. Green uncommons, home stretch.
Yeah.
It's best for last, all of that. Insidious fungus, also known as J.K. Rowling's house. Green for a 1/2 fungus with 2 sack it, choose 1. Destroy target artifact, destroy target enchantment, or draw a card, then put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield tapped. I mean, this card isn't bad.
I like this card a lot.
Like, you can just like chump and sack this.
Yeah.
Wait. Like, also, I guess this is just explore.
Yeah. No, like this is yes.
This is explore that when you draw it late, it's not just an empty cantrip. It like naturalizes a thing. Also.
Oh yeah, it is. It's a 1-mana 1/2 that sacks to either. It's a 1-mana 1/2 that can then be used to be consumed to cast either Growth Spiral or Naturalize. Like
Anger.
Yeah, I like this card. This
vaguely read it, didn't actually parse it, and I was like, oh, this is probably a sideboard card, But like, the explore part of that makes it really good.
Oh yeah.
What? Why?
Good modes.
Unhinged modes.
Also reasonable.
Unhinged modes. Unhinged levels of good modes.
True. Patchwork Beastie.
So true, bestie.
Agree. 1 green mana for a 3/3 artifact creature beast. The East Delirium can't attack or block unless there are 4 more card types among cards in your graveyard, and at the beginning of your upkeep, you may mill a card.
3/3 is like okay. It doesn't like come on that. It doesn't come online that easily, but it's nice that you can play it in the mid game and it's cheap and like it sets up Delirium well.
Like it's definitely a card that exists to double spell with. I like it because it's like,
double spell is the reason to like it.
Double spelling is the reason to like it. Obviously, like it. I kind of really like it, but it has it. But obviously, its fail case is like close to nothing.
I want to say that this is like an okay enabler. Maybe even good enabler, decent enabler. I don't know. It's hard to say.
It's both. I do think it is genuinely both enabler and payoff in the good way.
It's not that much of a payoff, I don't think.
I feel like the ability to double spell a 3/3 for 1 mana is like not negligible. Like it's very hard for a 3/3 to be an irrelevant body,
I feel like. Okay, let's say you play this on turn 1. On turn 2, it mills 1. On turn 3, it's milled 2. On turn 4, it's milled 3. I feel like it's not like attacking or blocking until like turn 5.
Well, I mean,
obviously you can play other things that do things. But even still, I don't know. It feels kind of slow.
Well, I don't want to play it outside of a deck that is built to do delirium-oriented things. I don't want to just stick. I'm not talking about it in a random deck. I'm talking about it in a deck where we are assumedly doing other things that help it do the thing.
I'm going to say Turbo Delirium. You kind of need to be really good at enabling Delirium.
Yeah.
You can't just, this cannot be the only Delirium in your deck.
Yes.
This cannot even be, your deck needs to be dedicated Delirium.
Yeah, I'm going to be on Delirium.
Dedicated Delirium.
Yeah, I was going to say Delirium only.
I think it's not insane. I don't know. It's just not that good of a payoff.
I agree that it's not insane. I agree that it's not insane, but I also think it does meaningful things.
Coordinated Clobbering. Green for a sorcery. Tap 1 or 2 target untapped creatures you control. They each deal damage equal to their power to target creature an opponent controls. Okay, so upsides and downsides. Comparing this to Prey Upon, you can target 2 things, so you can team up, which is nice. Downside, you have to tap your things. Like, if you try to do this pre-combat, this is not very good at enabling attacks. Upside, you trigger survival. Downside, like again, you have to tap your things, right? Like, a normal removal spell might be better at triggering your survival than this, right?
Yeah. I don't like this offhand.
You can cast this post-combat after, like, it's not as an additional cost tap.
Yes. But it's also like, I feel like this is bad on offense and bad on defense, and only good if you do not care about combat.
Yeah. Bad everywhere. Bad on offense, bad on defense is just bad everywhere. Like, bad removal. I don't know. It just doesn't do what removal wants to do. Like, this is non-functional removal. You know?
Yeah, like I want to say the words. I want to say combat matters derogatory.
Fails at combat?
I mean, yes.
Okay. Wow, we found a bad green card the previous one.
True.
This one's not a bad green card, though.
House Cartographer. 1 and a green for a 2/2 creature, human scout survival. At the beginning of your second main phase, if House Cartographer is tapped, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a land card. Put that card into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. I think this card is good.
I agree this card is good. It, like, somewhat has, like, sometimes it is just a 2-mana 2/2.
Yeah.
But the payoff is big.
Yes. Like, it's very... It is a card that asks you to enable. It is a card that asks you to enable it, but it doesn't require more to... I don't think it requires meaningfully more to enable than any other survivor, and I think the payoff is more substantial.
I'm going to say big payoff.
Yeah, I'm going to say, like... I'm just going to say, like, need support.
Need support, but big payoff.
Yep.
Overgrown Zealot, 1 in the green for an 0/4 Elf Druid. That's tap, add a mana of any color, and also has tap, add 2 mana of any one color. Spend this mana only to turn permanents face up.
This looks pretty good to me.
Yeah, it's just a mana dork.
Yeah, like...
Good dork.
Yep.
It's like, it has a bit of the, like, doesn't do anything in the late game problem. I feel like we aren't going to have that problem in this set.
No. There's a lot of stuff to do in the late game.
Yeah.
Yeah, dork with upside.
It's not that much upside, I feel like.
I feel like it is. Like, I feel like it solves the, like... I feel like it makes your Manifest Dreads meaningfully more, like, ways to find and play big creatures.
Mm-hmm.
Cathartic Parting. 1 and a green, sorcery. The owner of target artifact or enchantment an opponent controls shuffles it into their library. You may shuffle up to 4 target cards from your graveyard into your library.
It's really funny that this is a graveyard looping spell that doesn't work if your opponent doesn't have anything to naturalize.
Yes, I do find that hilarious. That said, I really do like this. This has devious cover-up vibes to me.
Devious cover-up has been called. Devious cover-up.
Yep. I'm willing to claim it. I believe this is devious cover-up.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty good. I think there are enough artifacts and enchantments that, like, this will often, like, hit something. I think this is, like, narrower than I'd like, but, like, I still like it. Narrow but appealing. Like, I don't like that.
I mean, this makes me think doing the problem is this card actually makes me think doing the, like, Devious Cover-Up deck is viable in a way that, like, I do not feel very often.
Well, one vibe I could put on this is Sam Black, all caps.
True.
Sam Black
Like,
will draft this a lot.
Like, I get that it doesn't work if your opponent doesn't have artifacts and enchantments, but also, like, if your opponent is playing a deck that doesn't play artifacts or enchantments, that doesn't have artifacts or enchantments for you to target, your deck doesn't need to do the thing.
I agree.
Like,
but then, like,
do
you play this main deck?
I would play. Yes, I would play this main deck. I think the vast majority of decks will have artifacts or enchantments.
Yeah, but like, would you play like a single copy of this main deck? Like, you know, you're extending your library slightly, but like not that much.
I mean, yeah, I agree that it's only slightly, but it's irrelevant slightly. Like, the first
one thing we should talk about is like Manifest Dread. Like if you Manifest Dread a bunch, you go through your library pretty quickly.
Yeah. Like, I agree that is a thing.
Yeah. This might be a high pick because like sometimes you just need to shuffle in 4 cards.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I'm just imagining like the Simic 2 gold Simic 2/3 now. Like, like I feel like we need to actually consider how fast that thing is going to go through your library.
Yeah.
If we assume you're continually manifesting dread. I like this. I think it is an actual way. I think it is an actual way to address that, and I think that like. I also think there are a lot of like incidental I think there are a lot of incidental artifacts and enchantments that like any opposing deck is likely to have. A lot of the good aggressive creatures are artifacts.
That's fair. I do like this card. I definitely want to play it a lot. I'm just like, I'm slightly worried, but I don't know. Defiant Survivor. 2 and a green for a 3/2 human survivor. When you do the survival thing, you manifest dread. I mean, that's pretty good.
It seems really good.
Yeah. Speaking of like this, manifest dread. That's like drawing a card. Is like a card, right?
I want to say great payoff.
Yeah, I'm gonna say huge payoff compared to the last one. I think like manifesting dread is better than getting a land.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and like obviously it's 3 mana 3/2 versus 2 mana 2/2, but like, yeah.
I think ultimately that's a bit negligible. Like, I think there might be an argument that if you're in like a slower deck that's trying to tap your survivor creatures out of combat, House Cartographer is actually better. But I think that like that conversation indulges the fact that like for the most part this is just the card that does more.
Yeah, the snowballs.
Yep. Yeah, I wanted to say great payoff.
I think I actually want to say it's snowballs wild.
Yeah.
Like the other survivors like don't necessarily all snowball that much. Like they don't like make you better at attacking with survivors, but this one kind of does. Ish.
Fear of Exposure. 2 and a green for a 5/4 enchantment creature Nightmare. As an additional cost to cast this spell, tap 2 untapped creatures and or lands you control. Trample.
Now this is a way to tap survivors.
Yes.
Like, I don't know, like 5 and a 5/4 trample, not amazing still, but okay. But like, if you have like, imagine curving like, you know, the previous thing into this.
Oh yeah. I think this is good. I think this is good. I think obviously survivors are the most obvious way to, like, survivors are the most obvious thing to do with it. I also weirdly, for whatever reason, my brain is going very quickly to Bant decks with this and the gold uncommon that makes tokens with Eerie.
I was thinking about the white room that reanimates 3 mana things.
Also true. Like, I think there's just a lot of things that make this card good.
Yeah, lots of hooks. I think there's a lot of like small things that work with this.
Yep.
That's what I mean by hooks.
Yep, I'm just gonna say like easy to utilize.
Break down the door. 2 and a green for an instant. another naturalize. Choose one, exile target artifact, exile target enchantment, or manifest dread. So as opposed to the 1 mana 1/2, which is also like a 3 mana naturalize, right? You get the last mode here is manifest dread instead of explore or growth pile, whatever. I mean, I don't think this is amazing.
I think this is my least favorite of the 3 naturalizes we've seen in the green uncommons.
Yeah, there sure have been 3.
There sure have been 3.
Worst naturalized. And therefore is one, like, that actually legitimately makes it worse.
No, I do agree that it is the worst naturalized. Like, I think it is distinctly the worst of the 3, but I'm also like, I also think it is good enough to play, and I want to play naturalizes in this format.
But you're gonna have more. Like, they're going to be.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, if I don't
need to play this.
What I mean is, like, if I don't get the other naturalizes to a degree, I'm comfortable. If I don't get like I feel like I want 1 to 2 naturalizes in most green decks, and like if I do not get 1 to 2 of them in the other better naturalizes, I would play this.
Mm-hmm. So where are you getting it?
Also, worst naturalize.
Next up, it's a room that I forgot to rotate.
All right, greenhouse / rickety gazebo. Greenhouse is 2 into green. Lands you control have tap, add 1 mana of any color. And rickety gazebo is 3 into green. When you unlock this room, mill 4 cards, then return up to 2 permanent cards from among them to your hand. I feel like
bad divination.
I mean, yes.
Like the left side doesn't do anything.
Yes, I do agree that this is an issue. It's
really. I'm really baffled why that doesn't cost like 2 instead of 3.
I agree. I don't know. This feels like a blunt. This feels like a blunt instrument. This feels like a blunt instrument towards making soup good when it's not a very when it is a card with poor rate.
Yeah.
In and of itself.
Bad divination. My vibe. Like these bucks just are never good, I think.
Yeah, I want to say
like you could maybe care about the enchantment, the like room part, but I don't know.
I'm trying to figure out how to phrase what I want to say, which is soup is good without it. Like unnecessary for soup. I think.
Okay, next card. Under the Skin. 2 and a green for a sorcery, Manifest Dread. You may return a permanent card from your graveyard to your hand. Notably, you can take the card that you put into the graveyard from Under the Skin. Though if you do, you won't trigger your analyst. Or, well, you won't get benefit from your analyst. But this is a pretty good, like, Gravedigger. This is, like, really good Gravedigger. Excellent Gravedigger, even. Like, this feels like the Mana War to me.
Yep. Oh, I agree. I think this is just a great Gravedigger.
Yeah.
Yep.
You can't get back, like, more copies of itself, but, like, that's fine.
Yep. Yeah, I think my 2-word vibe is just Gravedigger plus.
Also, notably, it gets back, like, not just creatures.
Oh, yeah.
Did I say Unhinged Rate on Mana War? I think I did. What was that card called? That card was called Unnerving Grasp. Yeah, I thought that was unhinged. Unhinged Rate Part 3.
Seems good.
I don't know, like, you're just allowed to cast this on turn 3.
Yep.
Well, that's like really, like, that's huge, right? Like, you're allowed to cast this on turn 3 as a 3 mana 2/2 that draws a card. Like, it, like, kind of quite literally draws a card.
Yep. I agree.
I don't know. This card, Manifest Dread seems...
No, that card seems great.
Yeah.
It is a Gravedigger with more upside and less downside than Gravedigger has broadly.
Yeah, like the fact that it's a Gravedigger split card with 3 mana 2/2 draw a card is kind of unhinged to me.
Yeah,
but.
I agree. Oh, I agree. I think the card's incredible. Wickerfolk Thresher. 3 into green for a 5/4 artifact creature Scarecrow. Delirium. Whenever Wickerfolk Thresher attacks, if there are 4 or more card types among cards in your graveyard, look at the top card of your library. If it's a land card, you may put it onto the battlefield. If you don't put the card onto the battlefield, put it into your hand.
Draws a card.
Draws a card.
When it attacks on Delirium. Also, it's a 4-mana 5/4.
Also, it's a 4-mana 5/4. Yeah, I wouldn't just say exceptional. I don't know. I just want to say exceptional rate. This is like so much rate.
Classic green. Is what I want to give this. Like, this is weirdly large, and like, you know,
weirdly large and draws cards in a way that's like hypothetically synergistic, but ultimately just ludicrously rate positive.
Yeah. Threats around every corner. Let's keep it coming with these Manifest Dread cards. 3 and a green for an enchantment. At ETB Manifest Dread, whenever a face down permanent you control enters, search for a basic and put it on the battlefield, tap, then shuffle. Unhinged rate.
Oh, I'm hyped for this.
like I don't know. Why are these Manifest Dread cards so good?
Like, okay, this is an actual card where I feel the need to say like, God, like, I just want to say does everything on this.
Does everything has been called, and yes, it does.
Yes, like,
you can sack this for value, you can balance it with get out, it just like gives you so much mana to work with to like do all your things.
Yes.
It's so, I never played with the like cons like blue green. Well, what was like secret plans or whatever? No, it was like Trail of Mysteries, right? Trail of Mysteries. Trail of Mysteries. Like whenever whenever you play a morph, you get to ramp. It's a 2-mana enchantment. Whenever you play a morph, you get to ramp, and like whenever a permanent you control is turn face up, it gets +2/+2 until off turn. That one, like, obviously that costs 2 mana. And it had another line of text, but like also that didn't do the thing when it entered, right?
Yes. Also, notably, Trail of Mystery didn't ramp.
Wait, what?
It got lands to hand.
Oh, God, lands to hand?
Yes.
This is better than Trail of Mystery.
I do believe this. My instinct is that it is. I liked Trail of Mystery. When I've played cons, I've liked Trail of Mystery. I think that it is a card that definitely needs some work to make work. And I think this needs a lot less work.
Like, I don't. Green has broken me. Why? Okay, I really like green. I always really like green, and it's like not always because it's good.
I agree.
But why? Okay. Anyways.
God. Oh, I did want to say about threats around every corner. It is actually one card where I am slightly worried about milling your deck.
I agree that card is a milling your deck kind of card. I think you actively would play the 6-mana 4/4 flyer in that.
Oh, I agree with that.
Anyways, I've corrected my thing to Mythic Uncommon in all caps. Like, why?
Reasonable?
What was my other claim of Mythic Uncommon? So Oblivious Bookworm, yeah, okay, and Surgical Suite Hospital Room, okay. I'm gonna put like that on lowercase Mythic Uncommon. Anyways,
all right. Rootwise Survivor, 3 green for a 3/4 creature human survivor. Haste survival at the beginning of your second main phase. If it is tapped, put 3+1/+1 counters on up to 1 target land you control. That land becomes a 0/0 elemental creature. In addition to its other types. It gains haste until your next turn.
So it just turns land into a 3/3? I like that it has haste.
I like this card until your opponent has a creature with 4 toughness.
Well, you mean with 4 power?
Well, yes.
Well, until your opponent can block it. But like if it works, you like immediately get the blocker back as well.
Yes. Oh yeah. Like there's a lot. No, there's a lot that's quite good with it. Yeah. No, I think it's a very snowbally. Like, it's very snowbally, but snowbally on 5, which is less snowbally, obviously.
Yeah. Like the fact that it has haste means like your opponent might not see it coming. Right? Like most survivors, you play them, and then your opponent's like, okay, I need to block this. This, you like your opponent just might not know.
That is true. I do feel like with its survival ability, it is notable. Oh, and creating of blockers, it is notable to recognize that it does not untap the lands.
That is true. Okay, yeah, I guess it doesn't quite have pseudo vigilance on 5.
Yeah, which is I still think the card is quite good, obviously.
If you trigger this, it's really good.
Yes. I want
it's expensive but nice. I don't know. It's the kind of card that has fail cases, but you can plays towards its successes, kind of.
Yes.
You can set yourself up, kind of.
I agree. I want to say, I just want to say I think I just want to say excellent trigger. I don't know. I think the card is very good. I am having trouble guessing past a certain point how threatening its fail case is, but yeah.
Altenac. 5 green. We always saw this for 9/9. We were looking at it with the card. Say its name.
Yep.
So 9/9 legendary creature, insect beast with trample. When it becomes the target of a spell or ability, and the opponent controls, draw a card, and you can pay 2 to discard it to return target land from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. So notably, the main thing with it's not an amazing rate on its face. If you're just casting it for 7, it's okay, certainly. Something you could put in your deck just to cast it for 7. The main thing is that if you have 3, you can exile 3 copies of Say Its Name from your graveyard to summon it for free. But I don't know. It's weird to say exactly how much you want to build around this.
Yeah. I agree with this. I still like the idea of trying to say its name out. I don't like the idea of casting it all. I have concerns about putting this in your deck where your plan is just to cast it, which I talked about earlier. Specifically, that I don't think it's great at stabilizing.
I'm gonna say must be named.
Yeah, I'm gonna say risky but powerful.
Maybe it must be called. That's more clear, I think. So that's green. Do we have green thoughts?
Why is green so good?
I'll allow the 2 of us 5 words combined. Why is green so good?
Agreed.
Okay. Okay. Let's finish it out. Last five.
Keys to the House. 1 colorless for an artifact. Pay 1 tap, sacrifice Keys to the House. Search your library for a basic land card. Reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. 3 tap, sacrifice Keys to the House. Lock or unlock a door of target room you control. Activate only as a sorcery. My instinct is to dislike this card.
This is Traveler's Amulet.
It is Traveler's Amulet. I've been less sold on Traveler's Amulet as a card of late.
It's a good Delirium card.
That is true. That is fair. I think where I'm at is I think I want to say fine in soup, which is where I'm at mostly. I'm not excited to play this. I personally am not excited to play this card otherwise.
Yeah. Big games! Exclamation mark. I don't know. I think the second ability is actually pretty nice sometimes. You can sometimes you cheat on mana, especially if you have a mythic room. You can really cheat on mana.
That's true.
But also sometimes you can relock a door to it's half bouncing it, right?
Yes. Yeah, of course.
When you don't need the land. It's almost like you're putting a land that sacks for value in your deck. Almost, not really.
Yes, but it's also...
It's when you play this, you may sack it for value.
See, I agree that you're kind of putting that in your... It's kind of putting that in your deck, but also... The problem is, I don't know. I'm very unsold on Traveler's Amulets is the biggest problem.
They're legitimately good in Delirium.
I am aware I am aware of their value in fueling delirium. Like I've done that before. I don't know. I did it in I did the Traveler's Amulet fueling delirium thing in Shadows over Innistrad. But I feel like this set is going to be less forgiving about doing that. But maybe that's just me.
I don't know. Saw. 2-mana artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +2/+0. Whenever it attacks, you may sacrifice a permanent that isn't the creature or the saw. If you do, draw a card. And it has equipped 2. Well, free sack outlet.
Yeah.
For your active treason.
I don't know. This seems like I mean, it's a sack outlet. It's
Expensive recycling?
Yeah.
I don't know whether that's good or bad, but
like
it does recycle all your stuff, which is nice.
I feel like I want to say slow but impactful, which is where I'm at.
That makes sense.
Yep. Alright, attack in the box. 3 mana for a 2/4 artifact creature toy. Whenever it attacks, you may have it get +4/+0 until end of turn. If you do, sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step.
I mean, I don't really like it. I don't know.
I don't think I want to play this card.
Mediocre filler.
Yeah.
Haunted Screen. 3 mana for a artifact that has tap, add white or black. Tap, pay 1 life, add blue, red, or green. Very flavorful. And 7, put 7 counters on it. It becomes a 0/0, activate only once. So it's a mana rock. It's like a manolith, except a bit over half the time you're taking pain. And you can also make it to 7/7.
I want to play this card. I'm not sure if that means it's good.
One of the problems with Manolith is speed, and paying life is not great for that.
I agree with this. I agree that this is a fairly critical issue.
I'm gonna give this. My vibe is minimize pain. In all caps. I don't know if you're allowed to play this in a red-green deck, for example.
Yeah.
Or a deck that needs to tap this for red and green.
Yeah, I think my vibe is inconsistently good.
I also just don't think it's that good because you can make it a 7/7, but that mode is just not that. That's not the problem with Manolith.
Oh no, I agree with that.
I don't think that helps with the problem. So I don't know.
I think that if the rest of your deck is fast enough, it helps with certain other problems. But again, the card has a lot of problems going into it. Conductive Machete, 4 mana artifact equipment. When it enters, manifest dread, then attach Conductive Machete to that creature. Equipped creature gets +2/+1. Equip 4.
4 mana 4/3. I think this card is just good. It's just those equipment from Kaldheim.
I agree.
It's expensive to move around, but it's a creature that dies into an equipment that has value, and also the creature is gives you even more ways to spend mana. It's just slow but good.
Oh yeah, I agree pretty strongly.
Yeah, this is Draugr's Helmet doesn't give menace.
Yep. I just want to say solid value.
Okay, and that's everything. It's been a long time.
It has been.
We spent 10 hours with a 2 hour, 12 hours with, but 2 of the hours with a break or something.
Uh,
Approximately. I guess we started more 11.
I thought we started at noon.
Noon? Okay.
It's like 10 hours.
Yeah,
I think that was pretty fast.
I think we definitely maintained pace. It was pretty nice.
Yeah. Well, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for tuning in to this nonsense. You can once again find our grades at !grades. If you would like to see our wonderful 2-word vibes for all the cards, and also all the archetypes, and also some often cheating on what 2 words means. You can find. I don't know how much I'll stream. I'm probably doing early access for this set. I'm not sure. But yeah, I will be continuing to make content and writing articles. I'm probably going to write one this weekend about something about the set, like for early impressions of this set. But yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else to add, Talia?
I don't think too much. I don't know. This was a pleasure.
Yeah. Glad to have you on.
Yeah. It's great to
Indeed.
be here.
So, let's see if there's someone to read. I don't know anyone. Magic the Gathering. Who is playing? Who? I guess we can raid Ham. Ham's a drafter. Sure, let's raid the Ham TV, who is drafting otters. The Ham TV. Thank you all for watching once again, and I am very tired and very sleepy, so I should go. But bye.
Bye.